You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the Fallout Feed, episode number 122. I am Andrew, joined tonight by Ray. Hello, Ray.
Good evening, Andrew.
And Sarah Vossler. Hello, Sarah Vossler.
Hi.
And our special guest of the evening, Sarah Saylor. Hi, Sarah Saylor.
How's it going?
We're going to be going by Vossler and Sarah tonight to avoid the confusion of Sarah and Sarah. So I might slip up. Hopefully I won't, but we'll try to keep track of everything and keep it, the talking loops to the who's on first routine to a minimum. So Sarah, welcome to the show. It's been a few weeks, few episodes since you've been on. I hear you've had quite an adventure with a little bit of a sickness here.
Oh yeah. My family makes jokes. You remember the terrible movie from like the late 90s, Bubble Boy?
Totally.
I don't recall that one.
Well, it's about a boy.
Wait. Yeah, the kid who couldn't get sick. Yeah.
Yeah, he could. Okay, so I should live in a bubble. It is the joke with my family. So yeah, if somebody's going to get sick in my family, it's going to be me. Or, little dude, and then we pass it on to everybody else.
Your little guy hasn't inherited that trait from you.
Oh, yeah.
He's the little sick one in the family. Oh, that's too bad. So, well, I'm glad you're on the upswing. And you passed it on to your husband, so good for you there. It's just going to be a vicious cycle now. It's going to go to your daughter, and then your kid, and then...
Oh, God. I hope it doesn't go to the teenager.
Oh, jeez.
See, she doesn't get sick often, but when she does, oh my God. You've heard of the man flu. You've never dealt with the teenager flu.
Oh, God.
She'll send me text messages. I'll be at work, and she'll send me text messages, and she'll be like, Mom, am I going to die?
Oh, my gosh.
No, but seriously, you say that? But I remember as a child being sick and, with the flu and thinking, this might be how I die.
Oh, that's so sad.
Do you not have memories of stuff like that, Vossler? As a kid?
So here's the deal.
Sick and puking that you don't dare leave the bathroom, and you're just like, I might die here on this towel on the bathroom floor.
No, I was a pretty neurotic kid. I have some weird, irrational fears, but I never thought I was going to die when I was a kid with the flu. As an adult, the last time I had the flu and I was in bed for 5 days, I remember laying there thinking, this might be it. But not as a kid. That makes me so sad.
When I had food poisoning a couple years ago, I was scared.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh, man.
And you guys have ruined it for me. Now the next time I'm sick, that's gonna be running through my mind. I'm gonna be thinking of you guys oh, great.
Oh, great. So, Ray, I've been really interested to know. Been a few weeks now. Has the vacation feeling worn off? How's the
Yeah, it's definitely worn off. And also my schedule's just trashed. So
what?
I don't think I've been to bed before 1:00 in probably a week and a half.
Oh my gosh, that's the dream.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to be able to stay up. What are you doing with your time? Are you actually doing fun stuff, or are you doing
playing 76?
Yeah, nice. That's good.
I'm so jealous.
Ray's living the dream. He's living the dream.
So roll out of bed at 8:30 or 9, and life's good.
Coffee and 76.
Yep,
that's the way to do it, man.
Gosh, I'm hoping to spend some vacation days to get a couple of good solid 76 days at some point before too long.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because this character that I'm playing right now, outside of the Roundtable character, I've just been, just so compulsively playing with this. So I started maybe 2 weeks ago, and she just rolled level 41 tonight.
Oh wow!
Ray,
Really?
oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So
So
yeah,
what?
I've been having a lot of fun hanging out with Eddie and Phil and Christian and Clint, and
This is
been
the character that was wearing the ritual.
yeah.
garb?
It's a creepy like there are varying levels of creep mask game, but I think that one's the worst.
Oh yeah, that one is the stuff of nightmares. That one and the ones that they came out with for the festival.
I haven't seen those yet. I only saw the picture of on the
Yeah.
ad. I haven't
Yeah.
actually seen them in game yet, though.
Yeah, I've got
They're
the guy with the
very,
big nose.
Yeah, they're very like what's the right word? Like
I don't even know. They're very. They make me think of clowns, and y'all, I don't do clowns.
they're like the masks that like they would wear in Shakespeare back in the
Yeah.
day, and every horror movie I can think of, they would fit well there. Like I don't know, like I just
They're the stuff of nightmares.
they're the stuff of nightmares. That's the right way to say it.
You know how Michael Myers' mask in Halloween is really like a William Shatner mask, like flipped inside out or something
That's
weird,
funny.
like
That's super funny.
something creepy like that. But there are the scary masks. I do agree, but the ones you're speaking about now, they're almost like a juxtaposition, like a silly but overly silly to the point where they're just outrageously frightening.
Yes.
Yeah, but
yes.
you see that out, and you don't know what they want. They want to kill you. That's what they want.
You can't tell what the person behind the mask is thinking.
No.
Are they thinking, I'm going to walk down and pick flowers today? Or are they thinking, I'm going to murder people in the streets? You don't know.
It's the latter.
Maybe it's just
always
the idea of masks in general. I don't like masks in general. Maybe that's my problem.
No, at Halloween, are you a face paint type of person or?
Oh yeah, no, we don't. I don't like masks. I don't do masks. Yeah.
I try not to. That is the first and foremost thing you want to do at to ruin your Halloween fun is to be in a mask the whole damn time.
Of course, you get all sweaty in there.
They're sweaty.
Mo dictated last year that I had to be. He was Godzilla, so I had to be King Kong. So I had a big freaking horrible gorilla mask on.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
I remember the pictures of that. I thought it was really awesome, though.
I was like drenched in sweat from a rubber gorilla mask.
Yeah.
And it was, it was like 15 degrees. It was freezing out, but I was still like drenched in gross animal. I was sweating gorilla grossness. Yum.
Yay. I feel like that ritual mask belongs in Skyrim, though. It doesn't fit in Fallout. It looks like a rejected Draugr, is what I told you the other day, Ray, right?
And, funny. Nice.
And yeah, it does, right? It doesn't look like a Fallout thing, but he's also playing go ahead.
Does that support the Fallout and Skyrim are in the same universe?
Let's see, someone in the Blades time traveled and gave us, come on, Ray, help me.
So I would be on board, but there's no magic in Fallout. Where did the magic go?
It was all Kim's the whole time. They were just really confused in the Skyrim.
They were just all on Jet the whole time.
Everyone would assume that Skyrim would be the one that happened earlier, and then
right.
No, I think the Fallout happened first. Yeah, and then it happened.
I always heard Fallout was what happened first, and it evolved into Skyrim.
See, yeah,
but
that makes more sense.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Why?
Why are we not running around Skyrim and running into like red rockets then? Are we saying that there was complete annihilation?
Well, I mean, it's in the same world, but like, you go to China from here and you're going to see a bunch of weird different shit than you would see here in the United States. Maybe they're on different opposite sides of the globe of each other.
That makes no sense. I am not on board with this theory.
I've never bought into it.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous thing.
Oh,
Just
I
because
haven't
they use-
either, but it's
All it takes is one mod, and your Nernroot doesn't look anything like it anyway.
Yeah,
It's true.
I was gonna say, Ray, the like the main thing is like they reused some of the same skins, like Nerf
Mhm.
and different, you know.
Yeah.
You
And I was.
recognize
Oh,
a few-
go ahead.
No, I was
Go
just
on.
saying you recognize a few things that are similar in each series. So like, oh my god, the same world.
Yeah, no. And I will say that Ray's character is a sneak character. So you turn around and there's a creepy mask staring at your face, and you just immediately want to smack it with something.
Yeah, which does happen.
What do you do for your sneaky character, Ray?
Sneak around and kill stuff.
No, but I mean specifically, what is your card layout? Do you have clothes that enhance it? Are you wearing shadows?
No, there's no clothes that really help me at this point. But I've got sneak. I think I'm maxed out on sneak. I'm maxed out on ninja. So my sneak attacks do 3 times damage. And what else helps me out?
Are you doing sniper rifle or like sneaky
No,
dagger or what?
Yeah, dagger. I use the
rifle.
ski sword and the cultist dagger.
Is that the one that looks like Crim's tooth?
Kind of like it. Yeah.
Okay. So someone was saying, I haven't yet seen it in the game, but someone was saying there's a blade similar to Crim's tooth. I think Eric was mentioning that.
Yeah, it's got kind of that same, curvy, to a point thing.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. And then, so I recently started going down the cannibal route.
very nice. Very
so it's sporting max cannibal and max lead belly. And I just got the carnivore mutation today.
Oh, perfect. Did you do that via not syringe? What the hell is it called?
No. I just do it by taking a bath at the hot springs.
There you go. Good call. Very nice. So I like the ritual mask. Very horrifying. I still haven't seen the form. Are there 4 new masks with this the new patch? And we'll get into some of new patch stuff with Ray a little bit later. No, none of the 3 of us, Vossler, Sailor, or I have done much of the new Wild Wasteland.
It's pretty darn fun.
Ray is retired, so he did have a chance. So we'll check in with Ray on that stuff here in a little bit. But we do have a lot of feedback to get through here tonight. We're going through the quests of Defiance Has Fallen, Recruitment Blues. There's also another quest in there about the training over at the military camp, but we will discuss that next time. That's on our schedule.
Yeah.
So we'll hear from Lee, Clint, Beardy Sai, Steve, Sarah, that's Sailor, Josh, Will, and Jen. So thanks everybody for sending in.
Yeah, I ran around with Lee a little bit too.
Oh, nice. It's always fun. Good times running into everybody. I'm at the point though, we've got so many people in our Xbox group that I'm having trouble keeping track of who is who and who I did what with when I did that. And I'm just like, was that with Gabe or was that with Jared, or was I running around? I'm just like, I can't remember who I did what with anymore. You know what I mean? We've got lots of good activity in our Xbox meetup group. But hey, the more the merrier. Anybody else out there in our Facebook group wants to Xbox it up, join up in our meetup thread.
Yeah, ours is a little bit more like small family.
You weirdo PC people.
We're the best.
We are.
I love us. But I still really, really want crossplay.
Yeah.
Like more than anything.
Super sweet.
That's on my Christmas wish list.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how this new Switch and Xbox cross-play thing will work too. I'm interested. We'll be able to play Xbox games on the Switch.
Well, you know that you're able to stream PC games onto the Xbox One now through Steam.
Oh, nice. That's great. All sorts of fun stuff. PlayStation needs to get its head out of its butt and join the party. Come on. Cross-platforming. Everyone wants it. Everybody just get together and do it. Come on.
Well, I mean, it's really sad. I remember, playing Final Fantasy 11, and it was cross-platform. And that was
Oh, wow.
I played that back in like 2007. So
That's amazing. They had online games.
Mhm.
That's crazy. Good stuff. The masks there. Granted, I still haven't seen the 4 new ones in the game, but my favorite mask, and I wish you could take it out, would be the one from the Watoga High School event. Have you guys done that event down there at the Watoga High School? It's like the Halloween candy event.
No, I haven't done it.
There's a really, really neat mask. You should just go down there and do the event just so you could check out the mask. The event is pretty fun too. And you get candy. Candy makes you dance.
Candy's always good.
Which evidently instantly restores all your AP.
Yeah, and like I just realized that when you pick up like cotton candy at the fair and stuff like that, that gives you like a great AP boost. And I was like, oh well, that makes sense. I mean, you're giving you a sugar rush basically.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, feedback, guys. Let's get into it. Let's start off with our feedback from, and the order received will go this evening. First off was Lee. Thanks, Lee.
Greetings, Fallout Feed guys and gals. This is Lee Benjamin with Brotherhood of Fools. Lorna decided that a more thorough search of Abby's bunker was in order to see what else she could learn about the Scorched and the Scorch Beasts. She found that Abby had a different terminal in her bedroom, and on it, Abby talked about several of the people in her life and about the Brotherhood of Steel's last message, which said, "Defiance has fallen." It wasn't clear what this meant, but it sounded like the name of a fort, and no one had heard anything out of the Brotherhood for a while. No one in the Free States knew of a Fort Defiance, so Raleigh took a group to a local Brotherhood of Steel training facility called Camp Venture, which was a pre-war facility and marked on her Pip-Boy map. It was a far trek to the south to get to Camp Venture, but Loner took the opportunity to drop by Big B's rest stop again to resupply and catch a nap on the roof of the Super Duper Mart. Camp Venture was a group of buildings, both concrete and wood, and it was full of Scorched. After clearing out the vermin, she started searching for clues of the fate of the Brotherhood. In a barracks, she found a note where recruit Henry was writing to his wife, Sarah, about how the Brotherhood seemed like a group of militaristic nutjobs who used knights and paladins as ranks. Henry was clearly second-guessing his decision to join up. Along with crafting tables, there were holotapes. Preservation of technology. This was a congratulatory message to the Appalachia branch of the Brotherhood for Paladin Taggarty's victory at Huntersville, but goes on to describe the Brotherhood scribes collecting the knowledge of the past and building upon it to keep the fighting force going, and to start rebuilding civilization. Helping our fellow man is a soldier's goal, but the task of collecting and preserving information is how the Brotherhood will change the world. The tape was recorded from a radio message by someone called Elder Maxon. The next tape was Formation of the Brotherhood of Steel. This is another holotape by Elder Maxon, detailing his experience of how the American leadership failed the citizens and the soldiers, and his proposal to his troops that they forge a Brotherhood of Steel. After finding a key to the storage building and a password for the command center, Loner found the commander's terminal, which contained personal notes, reports, and duty logs. These records covered the reasons behind the camp's transition from the U.S. Army to the Brotherhood, under former Army Captain Roger Maxon, who they only knew as a voice coming in on satellite radio from California. The soldiers of Camp Venture found out some of what was going on in Appalachia before the bombs fell. Apparently, West Tech had intentionally used the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV, on the citizens of Huntersville. That discovery was what convinced the Army post to reject any thoughts of rejoining their old chain of command. The betrayal was real, and any true soldier would know that it fell within their rights to disobey any unlawful orders issued by a chain of command that would allow such an atrocity to occur. This elder Maxon told of his own reservations about the immorality he had seen in those leading him, and provided a direction forward for the soldiers of Camp Venture. They were so desperate to find their place in the destroyed America that the best course of action they could find was to follow the leadership that Maxon was offering. The camp commander's terminal went on to note heroism and tragedy in the formation of Paladin Taggarty's Thunder. In training, they'd had at least one suicide and one trainee going AWOL, along with some theft. Washouts are expected in any training program, but this was unacceptable. Loner found a letter from a recruit which revealed that Fort Defiance is located in the old Allegheny Asylum. Apparently the need to defend Fort Defiance against the Scorched and the Scorch Beasts, which this recruit had already seen, was great enough to cut their training short. He ends his note with Ad Victoriam, to victory. Loner wasn't surprised to find that the overseer had also been to Camp Venture and left a holotape with her thoughts. She was confused about what the Brotherhood was, but seeing their military organization, she surmised there must be additional leadership in the area. Perhaps this Paladin Taggarty at Fort Defiance could provide some answers about the Brotherhood's plans for Appalachia. Fort Defiance was east of Watauga, at the site of the old Allegheny Asylum. When Loner arrived at the fort, she found that some of her friends from Vault 76 were there and had already powered up the asylum. Sammy Hopewell and Sammy Please Ni Loco were collecting resources that the Brotherhood had left behind. Suddenly, an alarm went off, and an automated missile turret started firing. There was a Scorch Beast attacking the fort, and it had summoned many Scorched ground troops. Between the missile turret and the firepower of the collected 76ers, a long battle ensued which ended with clear skies and many Scorched to be looted for ammunition and other resources. The group then headed into the asylum and fought their way through until they reached the 3rd floor. They cleared out the Scorched, but the only way to continue was to get past a locked elevator with a laser grid protecting it. The terminal attached had some strange requirement for a government-issued military ID card. Although Loner had taken the Army training at Camp McClintock, that seemed to be months ago. She only had a certificate to show for it, not an ID card. A note found nearby, written by one Brotherhood scribe Grant, told about how the Scorch Beast kept attacking Fort Defiance and the Thunder Mountain power plant. Once the power plant went down, the fort was doomed. To discover what the Brotherhood had kept on the top floor, they'd have to figure out how to get a military ID card in this destroyed world. Apparently, bureaucracy is eternal. The task of getting the military ID card was a grand tour of the Charleston Capitol complex, made only slightly more complicated by the large complement of Scorched in and around the building. Part of the task was to provide a local address, which can only be verified with a piece of mail with an address on it. Of course, the mail you find in the wasteland won't match the address you put on your first form, so you need another. And in lieu of a birth certificate, you'll need to use the governor's seal to stamp the new form. Loner wondered how anyone ever got anything done in the government complex before the war, even without the feral ghouls and Scorched, the Snallygasters and the Grafton monsters in the area. In the end, she had a printed military ID card. Woohoo! Loner stopped by her camp and found her vault friend, Abby, was visiting and making use of her public workbenches. Abby was looking for the plans for a Brotherhood of Steel undergarment lining, which involved finding some specific technical data. Perhaps the data was where the Brotherhood had been. As they were headed to the same place, they returned to the Brotherhood Asylum, as they now called it. They fought their way to the 3rd floor and found the terminal by the elevator. Loner looked at the terminal, crossed herself, and submitted her ID for scanning. The terminal thought about it for a long minute, and it gave her ID back. There was a tone, and the angry red laser grid in front of the terminal turned blue, giving her access to the elevator. Loner got on the elevator, and Abby headed for it, but stopped and said the grid had turned red again. They swore at the world across the laser grid and agreed that Loner should proceed to the top floor and see what she could find, along with looking for technical data for Abby. The top floor was used as a headquarters and included many rooms. She started finding references to a mysterious Order 099-01 and finally found a copy of it, signed by Scribe Grant. It stated, "Strike Team is to infiltrate VTU and get to the Automated Research Lab, ARL. Team is to get ARL functioning by any means necessary. Once the mainframe is online, upload ARP-001. 2 members of the team are to stay behind and secure the lab. Viable Scorched Beast DNA samples will be sent after facility is online. Infiltration and secrecy is paramount. Taggarty orders no hostile contact with responders. If fired upon, orders are to regroup at Thunder Mountain and await further orders. Apparently, a Squire Montgomery's team had already disappeared at VTU, so there was no telling what might be there. At the end of the hall was Senior Knight Wilson's terminal, which included an entry called Urgent Touchdown Recovery and a supplement to it. Wilson feared that Operation Touchdown must have failed as he could not determine Taggarty's fate, but believed it was linked to a solution to the Scorch Beast problem. Loner thought, how cute, they codenamed the Scorch Beast Sierra Bravo. Anyway, it was now up to whoever read this to recover Touchdown. Toward the end, the Brotherhood closed down Camp Venture, pulling the resources back to the asylum. They even started raiding local farmers and the responders for supplies. After losing the last cargo bot, they decided to store all the dangerous technology they'd found in the basement of Hut Vest at Camp Venture. Loner couldn't recall if they'd breached that basement room or not. After losing contact with Paladin Taggarty, Wilson assumed that Operation Touchdown had failed. But 2 days later, there was a massive earthquake which resulted in a couple weeks of skies clear of Sierra Bravo. Unfortunately, multiple fissures, the points where Scorch Beasts appear, opened up due to the quake, and soon multiple Scorch Beasts emerged to finally wipe out the Brotherhood of Appalachia. Unfortunately, Loner did not find any technical data for Abby. Loner had thought at first that the answer to her personal journey might lie with the Brotherhood of Steel, but their closed-mindedness about who got to use the technology that they'd scavenged made her wonder why they weren't interested in helping anyone but themselves. She decided that her future must lie along another path. It is my pleasure to tell you her story. I'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you so much, Lee, for the wonderful feedback. Always such a pleasure hearing of the adventures of Loner. Now, Ray, it sounds like you had a little bit of a hand in the feedback. Would you like to present it from your side, too?
So I wanted to figure out what the Under Armour thing was, because I hadn't really played around with it yet. And so, Lee and I were on one day, and I said, hey, can you help me out? Because I hadn't taken this character through the Brotherhood of Steel. And, so he tried to find it. He got, in there, but couldn't find any of the technical data papers. We later went back and with some, ones that had previously been found, but it didn't work out. So I ended up having to take her through I had taken her as far as the end of the Raider quests, because I wanted to get the Black Diamond, but I ended up having to go through all of the Free States and Brotherhood to get the Under Armour for her. So it was fun.
Is there not a version of Under Armour for every faction? Is there a Responders Under Armour? I think, isn't the Vault Suit an Under Armour? Can't you upgrade that to?
But I specifically wanted the benefits from the Brotherhood of Steel because it fits the character better as far as specs go.
The specials. And remind me, what are the specials on the Brotherhood one?
The two key ones are strength and endurance.
Nice. My Under Armour's the strength and perception. I've got the Enclave one.
Yeah,
those are fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I don't really need perception with this character, so
yeah, I'm
because if I'm right behind him, so I can't miss him.
There's always a chance. It only says 95. It doesn't say 100. Have you ever missed from point blank?
No, because when I'm right there, I don't typically bother with VATS, and unless I get if I get engaged with a super mutant or something that's high enough level that I can't one or two shot him, then I use VATS instead of blocking.
So can you calculate real quick off the top of your head with all your cards and your sneak and your weapons and all that? How much damage are you doing per swipe? Do you have any idea what that ballpark is?
Oh gosh, so the ski sword is like 120, and then you multiply it by 3.
Good lord. That's
So-
like a mini nuke.
Yeah. So yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, she's one-shotting level 62 ghouls and stuff like that at White Springs pretty regularly.
And do you
Wow.
also have all the melee cards and stuff too?
Yeah. So right now I'm on the 2nd level of Gladiator.
And they
That's,
differentiate between one and two handed. So Gladiator's the one handed. What is the two handed one called?
Slugger.
Slugger. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Ray started doing math and my eyes glazed over.
So they locked you out of the tower though, Ray, and you couldn't get up there. So Lee went looking for stuff for you.
Yeah.
No technical documents. Tons of ballistic fiber up there. Not ballistic. What's it called in this game? Ballistic fiber, right? Is it
Yeah.
a lot of those ammo bags up there? Lee, thank you for your feedback, sir. Always love hearing about your character.
Yeah. Great storytelling.
Next up on the list, we have Clint, who's on the show a couple weeks ago. Thank you so much, Clint. Quite a pleasure hearing from you. Let's see what your character had to say.
G'day all, Clint from Brisbane again, with the continuing story of Gardner. This week featuring another character, Frida, played by my wife Charlene. After completing all the tasks set by Abby, it was time for Gardner to investigate the Brotherhood of Steel to see what they had discovered about the Scorched. Abby's only clue was there was a fort somewhere called Fort Defiance, but she didn't know its location. But there was mention of a camp venture to the south for which she had coordinates. Before setting out, Gardner met up with a friend she knew from the Vault days called Frida. Frida usually travels with her best friend Bobby, but Bobby had a hair appointment or something, so Frida was available to help out. Apart from a few meetups with the PC group, this was the first time Gardner had had an actual companion to help pursue the Scorched problem. They set out south and eventually found Camp Venture. This place was very obviously abandoned and apparently very recently. There were only 3 Scorched in the area to be taken care of, and the whole place had been left unlocked. They were glad not to have to go looking for keys or passwords or anything to get in. There wasn't much there to loot either, but after having a look around, they found a letter on a table. The letter was for someone called Tommy. It was the clue they were looking for. Fort Defiance was apparently the new name for the old Allegheny Asylum. Gardner knew where that was, and it looked like it wasn't going to be easy to get there. They decided to approach from the northeast, as the map showed a road from Huntersville almost directly there via the Devil's Backbone. On the way, they discovered a place called the Freak Show, which apparently was some sort of weird zoo before the bombs fell. Just a few left now that needed to be taken care of. Turns out giant green toads are good to eat. Who'd have thought? There were a few Scorched outside Fort Defiance, so it was necessary for Gardner and Frida to put on their recently acquired power armor suits and fight their way to the front door. Once inside, though, things were reasonably quiet, with very few enemies to deal with. Just like Camp Venture, this was also like someone had been there recently and removed many enemies. But Gardner and Frida were not questioning their good fortune. They made their way up a few floors and found that Gardner would need a military-issue ID to proceed further. Now, fortunately, both of them had completed basic training at Fort McClintock previously, so that wasn't necessary at this time. But they did now have to go to the DMV in the Capitol building in Charleston. This was going to be interesting. Travelling there wasn't difficult, but once there was a lot to do. Prior to when the bombs fell, someone had fully automated the license issuing process in the DMV, and that programmer had obviously been a bureaucrat. They'd even programmed a haughty attitude into the various robots. So what followed was a series of trips to various departments, either in the same building or one nearby, to collect various bits of paper. It all became a bit of a blur to Gardner, but she does remember that every time she had to take a number, and a PA system started calling out numbers, some local ghouls would become incensed and pile into the room. So Gardner was happy to have Frida there with her black diamond ski sword to fight them off, so Gardner could concentrate on listening for her number to be called amongst all the ruckus. Eventually, Gardner had the military issue ID she needed, and the two travelled back to Fort Defiance. On arrival, it was again necessary to fight their way to the front door. But once there, it was easy to make their way back upstairs to the terminal and register as new personnel. That gave Gardner, who was now officially a Brotherhood of Steel member, access to another room from which Frida was barred. In that room, Gardner found more information that made it look like things were going to get very serious very soon. Okay, this week's addendum is a little story about a griefer, just a mild one. Charlene and I play Fallout on two PCs next to each other, so communication between us isn't a problem, although we do wear headsets to talk to other players if necessary. So last weekend we had our characters, Bobby and Frida, in Frida's camp, which is on the banks of the Ohio River in the forest, doing camp stuff. You know, cooking, repairing armour and weapons, playing instruments, that stuff we all do. Another player's character came into the house and waved, so we both waved back as you do. Then this character put on a boxing glove and started hitting Frida. Now, we were on team radio, so we couldn't talk to him in the moment, but Charlene and I both did the no thanks gesture. And of course, we both play in pacifist mode, so we weren't going to hit him back. But this idiot, instead of accepting and being on his way, kept on trying to hit both of us. I mean, really? As far as he knew, he had entered the dwelling of two women and just continued trying to punch them both. What kind of a man is that? So Charlene and I looked at each other and simultaneously hit escape, Z, and quit to main menu. And as my screen went back to main menu, I heard the delightful sound of a sploosh as the camp disappeared from under him and he was unceremoniously dumped into the river. He is hoping he suffered a waterborne disease. Okay, so that's all from me this week, and hope we'll see you in the wasteland.
Burn, I hope he suffers more than a waterborne disease, Clint. Jerk?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'm
Clint.
not a big fan of griefers. Not a fan.
Who
I
is?
hope he gets 20 bad haircuts in a row.
Who does like PvP? I don't know anybody who does. I think Steve is the only person I ever mentioned who wants to do that 4-man tournament thing.
Now, my husband said that if he ever played, this game, that he wanted to create the character that goes after the griefers. But he's like really good at video games, and I suck, y'all.
Vigilante.
Well, Sarah and Ray's played with me, so they know I'm a terrible gamer, but I'm fun.
You build a nice camp.
Thank
Build
you.
a great camp.
Thank you.
Such thing as a terrible gamer. Come on.
She's a wonderful gamer. She's a wonderful gamer. She does not give herself enough credit.
You're only a terrible gamer if you play games and you're not having fun playing games. That
Exactly.
Yeah, you're only a terrible gamer if you're griefing other people and being mean.
I don't, which I mean, I've said this on the group before. I don't understand that mentality. The people who want to be assholes to other people, I don't get it. Like it baffles me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can lump them all together in with the other assholes who never played the game and give it a hard time, or only played, a few hours and still are still ranting half a year later how horrible the game is.
If you don't like it, don't play it. We're fine without you. We'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have fun,
Yeah, we have fun with each other. It's fine.
And how about we all form this nice new internet rule where if we don't like something, we keep our mouths shut the fuck up, and if we like something, then we can talk about it all we want.
I'm okay with people saying that they don't like the game. It's just like have a legit reason for not liking it, and then maybe post about it once and then move on. You know?
Right.
I want everyone to have an opinion because it's good for all of us to talk about things. But when you post over and over, yeah, it's your opinion. Write about it one time, review, didn't like it, move on. That's fine. Don't go out there and just beat a dead horse about it.
No, I'm
The
tired of
problem
the fucking.
is,
Yeah, I'm tired of the dead horse already. Like I went into
Man.
I tried to take my game controller into the shop, my local used game shop, and they used to provide a service where they will fix your controller for $10. They'll open it up and fix it and put it back together for $10. I was like, shit, that beats the hell out of buying a new controller for $70 or whatever. And so I went over there to do it, and the girl isn't there anymore. But the guy was like, yeah, what are you doing to your controller? And I was like, yeah, I'm just, the stem pack on 76 is at this one place. I can't move. So I'm just like smashing this button all the time. I think I've ruined the connection in there. He's like, oh, God, 76. What a horrible game. That's not Fallout. I'm just like, oh, God. This again. I didn't go off on him, but I was just kind of like, I am tired of you, like,
Right.
just defending this fucking game all the time.
I know.
It's not Fallout. Well, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
my daughter actually defended us at school, y'all.
Really?
I think I told Sarah and Ray about this. Yeah, this was back whenever 76 first came out. And, everybody was bitching about it because everybody's little bitches and that's what they do. And my daughter, August, she overheard some kids talking about it. And she's like, y'all, my mom plays that game. And her
That's
friends,
right.
she was like, her friends play that game. And they're all like super intelligent people. And if the game sucks, they wouldn't play it.
Good for her.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome like that.
Stick it to him. That's great. Well, does she play games?
She does. She is into like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Heart. She plays on PS4. So she's waiting for The Last of Us 2 to come out. She's really excited about it.
Gosh.
Yeah. I've heard
And there's another game that she likes, and I can't think of the name of it. Until Dawn. It was another game that she really, really liked.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
is that a
all
zombie
of
one
my
or something?
Yeah, well, I think it is. I don't know. I just, I don't ask my kids what they're playing. I just let them play, But no, Toby, he's into the Lego games. So
Yeah, those are awesome. I know Vossler's kid is
Mhm.
those too. Yeah. Those are
Yeah.
good.
yeah, and then Toby, he actually played 76 with us one night, and he just thought it was like the coolest thing ever because he got to run around in a circle and shoot everything, and
Yay.
everybody talked to him. And so now he's like, hey mom, you want to play Fallout 76? Are your podcast friends on? And I'm like, well, I don't know if they're on right now.
Yeah. The my 4-year-old plays with me, and he's just really, really, really into Fallout now. He just loves killing Scorched and Ghouls. We're gonna go out and find more Scorched and Ghouls. He's running around in the backyard pretending to be Scorched and Ghouls.
So cute.
That's his thing. But like, he knows some of the people from the podcast group, like Alex and Pat and Craig and all these guys. So anytime we run across a different player in the game, he's always like, hey, Alex. And I'm like, that's not Alex, buddy.
Oh, that's so cute.
Alex, follow me. I'm like, no, don't
That's not Alex.
don't invite that person to follow us, please.
That is so cute, though.
Yeah, but he's really into it. And just like your kid was asking about the podcast, every time we log in, he's like, he goes through the whole roll call of all the people. Is this person on? Is that person on? Is this person on? Can we go to their camp? Is this Pat? Let's go to Pat's house. And
yeah,
he doesn't quite understand how servers work. I mean, I don't.
Right.
But like, yeah.
Toby also, like, it doesn't matter what podcasts, I turn on, he'll be like, is that your podcast? I want to listen to your podcast.
No,
So
did
he's
you
a
play him-
fan. He's a fan.
Did you play him Galentine's Day?
I did. He likes anything where I'm talking, so I don't. And like, even if I'm not on the show and he hears you all say Sarah's name, he thinks that it's me, and I'm like, no, that's the other Sarah.
Oh God, we talk about you plenty too, though.
Yeah.
But no, he thinks it's like the coolest thing ever.
Well, you are a pretty cool mom.
I agree.
I try. I think we're all pretty cool parents, though. You know, I mean, we let our kids play Fallout, so there's that.
know, my
Or we
wife-
can be terrible parents.
My wife actually
Just-
brought up the other day, is this too much for him? And I was thinking probably, but I was saying no.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
You
And I
know,
use the excuse that it's only monsters. In this game
Right.
specifically, you're not even killing raiders in this game. There are no people, literally no human beings in this fucking game. You're only killing make-believe pretend things. So it's not like Call of Duty where you're actually killing other human beings. For some reason, my mind makes a distinction between the two and that violence. I don't know why.
I see what you mean. There's a YouTube video. I think Machina did it, and I mean, this came out, God, 10 years ago, but it's kind of making fun of all the little kids that was playing Counter-Strike back in the day. And the video's hilarious, but it's called Counter-Strike for Kids. If you haven't watched it, you should look it up. But like, and I mean, there was like little kids, you know, with speech impediments playing that game. So it could be worse, I guess.
Yeah, I just hang my hat on it's make believe, you know, not killing real people, so hopefully I'm not doing lingering damage to his psyche.
Right.
I mean, think about the stuff that you played when you were a kid.
Mario?
I mean, like we played Street Fighter. I played a lot of GoldenEye. Like,
A lot of
Actually,
I
Mortal
don't know.
Kombat.
I mean, it wasn't like bloody or anything crazy, but
the
No, I played arcade Mortal Kombat.
yeah,
And it had all the blood and everything. But I mean, you know, I turned
Yeah.
out to be a fairly well-adjusted human person, so there's that.
yeah. And my son actually doesn't. I haven't really had him play much Fallout. He's played Skyrim, like he's killed wolves and stuff in Skyrim. I am uneasy about the ghouls and the zombies, mainly because I'm uncomfortable with ghouls and zombies. Like I'm sensitive to that kind of stuff. So
They're pretty
Um,
gross.
yeah, so that's my only reservation with him. So he doesn't really play 76, but I would be down for him taking out some robots or something.
Speak more on your aversion to ghouls and zombies. What's that about?
I don't I've always been sensitive to it. I watched one episode of The Walking Dead one time with my husband, and I had some of the worst nightmares I've ever had, given I was pregnant at the time. So
Oh,
it just makes it
That's a
worse.
horrible idea. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right? And I've just never, they're just not my cup of tea. I don't like zombie movies. I don't really like zombie games. I like The Last of Us, and even then, that was a little bit too much. And the ghouls in Fallout are like just unzombie like enough that I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I still, when they run at me, I get a little bit like, "Ugh, I
And
don't like it.
Draugr and Skyrim, Draugr or
The Draugrs, I hate Draugrs. I hate
Uh,
them. Maybe this is why I have a problem with Ray's mask. They freak me out.
yeah,
They do.
I'm with you on the Draugr. I feel the same way about them as I do about Mirelurks. And we know
Yeah.
how much I love Mirelurks.
Yeah. And it's the noises they make sometimes too, or it's just a
Yes.
little bit. Yeah. So that's my deal with ghouls and zombies. It's nothing crazy. They're just not. I just don't like them.
That seems like a recent aversion. Like I was expecting you to say my dad showed me Night of the Living Dead when I was 7 or something, you know, like this to be like a deep rooted thing.
Nah. I think we've talked about my irrational fear of dinosaurs before because of Jurassic Park. I think we've talked about that before. That's deep seated. But no, the zombie thing is fairly recent. And I don't really watch scary movies pretty much ever.
I was gonna say, what's your general feeling on horror movies? So you just avoid them generally.
Yeah, I'm just a little sensitive. I don't know why. I just always have been. I have a
Yeah,
strong
I don't like
imagination.
I don't like modern horror movies. I like old horror movies like Alfred Hitchcock, you know, but I think that modern horror movies are mostly like gore and snuff films. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I don't like the gore. I don't like the
yeah,
blood. I don't need to see it. It's even Game of Thrones is like on
Oh,
I
that's
you know,
gruesome. Gruesome.
yeah. My
I love
husband
Game of
watches it
Thrones,
all.
so
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
Um,
wonderful,
you were
but I
talking
just
about
look down when I know things are coming.
being
Oh,
pregnant and watching The Walking Dead and it bothering you.
Mhm.
So I was pregnant with Toby whenever the Red Wedding episode,
Oh
and
God.
at that
No.
time I hadn't read any of the books.
Mm-mm.
And my husband and I, we sat on the couch, no joke, for like 15 minutes, unable to speak to each other because it was just so shocking.
Well, the way it plays out in the book is very different than how they portray it. Like, without any spoilers, there are things
I've
in
since read all of the books, but at the
Yeah.
time, yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally different.
It's just different. Yeah. I actually, after I saw the Red Wedding, I didn't watch Game of Thrones for years afterward. I couldn't, I like could not
Right.
process. I can't
I
process it.
I
So,
understand that. I have a love-hate relationship with, another big
Yeah.
show, Grey's Anatomy.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so after the airplane crashed, I didn't
Mhm.
watch it for years. I was like, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. I was an
Once
emotional
yeah.
wreck. And
Mhm.
and a couple
Yeah.
years ago, temporary insanity happened, and I decided to watch it again. So I binge watched all of it. And I'm right back there where I'm like, I don't want to watch that again.
I mean, were you just completely dehydrated from all the tears?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean
pretty much. And I had shared the post that I had originally made. It came up in my memories, and my friend Chas was like, "Why are you watching it again?" I said, "Because apparently I hate myself."
Right.
That's all I've got. But yeah, so I'm trying to like watch other shows to keep me from watching that one. But yeah, I mean, it makes me an emotional wreck, and I hate myself for watching it. But yeah.
Hey Ray, do you usually have like a TV show going or something?
Um,
Do you
So
watch shows like that?
no, I did watch the next season of Secret City.
I don't know.
What's that?
I was gonna say I don't even know what that is.
It's an Australian thriller. It's
Really?
yeah, kind of a government whodunit.
Ray
How
loves.
do you watch that?
Yeah. Is that a Netflix?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Really?
Netflix.
Okay. I'm usually like I need to watch comedies or something light. I don't do well with too much drama on TV. So,
I've been watching too much like true crime lately, and so
mhm.
my husband and I a couple weeks ago we went up to Lexington. He took me, and one of my friends said that this was spousal abuse, but he took me to Lexington to watch Gone with the Wind at the movies, and it was wonderful. And that movie's like 5.5 hours long, and most people hate it. I love it. But we stopped at a speedway on the way home, and something happened, and like the person who was waited on before us, their card didn't go through, and the guy didn't know it went through. And whenever he rang up all of our things, it added it onto that guy's card. And I told Bishop, I was like, okay, we're gonna get killed. This is how people get killed. And he's like, okay, you need to calm down, stop watching TV, just calm down. Nobody's gonna die. And I was like, no, that's how people get killed. I'm telling you, we're gonna get murdered before we make it home.
He's like chill with the true crime.
Yeah, yeah. So I can turn into a very neurotic, crazy person, but I realize that about myself and I accept it.
My brother's wife is always watching that what's it called? Investigate Discovery or Discovery Channel Investigator.
Oh yeah.
Like
Mhm.
always murder mystery. Like
Yeah.
the wife killed the husband in the middle of the
Mhm.
night. No,
Mhm.
expected it. And he's
They
always
have-
like,
Yeah.
he's always like, she would know how to do it, Andrew. She watched it."
It's always the spouse.
Oh yeah, they have a wonderful series called, and I just watched all of it. It is a crime to remember, so it's murders that took place in like the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
So it's really cool. And it's like really, really well done. So like the dramatizations in it are like the really cheesy ones with the guys with the fake mustaches and everything. It's really well done. But it does turn you into a crazy person. So
Well, you, Sailor, you mentioned did you get your husband to play some 76 too?
no, I haven't been able to get him to. I'm trying. I'm trying, y'all.
And Vossler, you said your husband does have a character, right?
He has a character that he took out for maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, he totally ignored it.
Yeah.
One thing that Clint mentioned in his feedback is he plays with his wife, which I
Which is
thought
awesome.
that's
so
fucking
sweet.
great. Yeah.
That is great.
That's romance, y'all.
Now Jess has gotten her husband involved as well, and I think he's kind of taken to the game. His character has leveled up really quickly, and I've teamed up with him on numerous occasions now. Really fun to play with. But the other day, I went to join up with them, but they were just like, "No, we don't want to team up right now," which is cool. This is totally fine. And I was just like thinking, "Oh man, I really wish my wife played. That'd be really fun to run around together in the
It
wasteland."
would be really
So,
fun.
Clint, that's a really awesome that you and Charlene can play together like that. And it's cool that you still wear headsets even though you're sitting right next to each other. That's hilarious.
My husband and I did whenever we used to play Destiny 2 together. Back whenever I don't want to say when it first came out, but not long after it came out, we played a lot of Destiny 2, and we would wear headsets, and we were living in like a 900 square foot apartment. So, I mean, it's not like there was a lot of space between us, but it'd be, yelling into the other room.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play with my wife. She'd kick me off the team because I wasn't generating enough XP.
I love it.
Do better, Ray.
You failed to finish your last 2 quests. You're off the team.
You're off the team. Get a new server even. That's hilarious. Thank you so much, Clint, for the feedback. One other thing he mentioned real quick is both of the locations he went to were sort of recently cleared out by other enemies. Yet he also mentioned that right outside was more of a battle to get in. Why every time you show up on the exterior cell do the things refresh and pop back and replenish every time someone new hops onto the server, it seems. But when you step into the building, I don't know what is preventing it from doing the same there. You know what I mean?
It's weird because it depends on where you are. Because the Capitol building, if somebody new walks into the Capitol building, it's like Super Mutant Fest again. It's like they all come out of every corner. But for some reason, every time I go to Fort Defiant, everything inside's dead already.
It's empty.
I haven't been in there with any enemies in there at all yet.
Interesting. Because the first few hundred times I went there, I just kept getting slaughtered by the one dingo in there.
I've never found one in there.
Yeah, they used to kick my butt all the time. But you're right. I have been in locations where you're just standing someplace, and if you've been there too long and someone else pops into the building, then all of a sudden you see them literally rise up out of the floor like they're a demon or something. Oh. Hello. Great. So, Clint, thank you so much for the feedback there. Let's move on. And next submission was from Beardy Saw. Hey.
Closed journal part, whatever I'm on now. Onwards to Abby's bunker. I headed east from Sunny Top ski lanes. Seemed like a reasonable way to go from my map. Shame about the cliffs. I don't know why there's no better map in the whole of Appalachia than this glorified tourist brochure. As I was climbing down the cliffs, luckily in power armor, a scorch beast burst upwards from below the cliff face and attacked. I don't know was it a shockwave attack or the shock that made me fall, but I landed badly and passed out. When I came to, the beast had left me alone, but I could still hear its wing beats somewhere overhead. Tried creeping down into the valley as quietly as I could, but I got jumped by a bunch of scorched, and their cries and gunshots called the beast back. My new location was less exposed. Luckily, there were some rocky outcrops I could use for cover from its attacks. I pulled out an antique black powder rifle that I'd found earlier and started taking pot shots whenever it was in range. With it being such a slow reload, I really had to choose my shots and not waste any. Seems crazy that such an antique weapon could be one of the most powerful I have, but those 50 caliber balls leave big holes. I guess I got tired of having holes shot in it because it landed to attack me directly. Dropping the rifle for a combat shotgun, I finally managed to kill it, but not before it had mostly wrecked my armor and most of my ammo was gone. Time for some serious scrounging. I got to the bunker without any more incidents. There was a horde of super mutants at the Red Rocket Mega Stop. I gave them a wide berth as it had almost no ammo left. It seems the folk around here were living in their bunkers even before the war, some kind of survivalist secessionists. At least they were well stocked with supplies. That bunker was a gold mine. Abby Singh was one of their leaders. She'd left a pre-recorded messages in case she died before her work was complete. It seemed she'd developed a device to help counter the scorched, a detector network. If Madigan hadn't fallen foul of the raiders at the top of the world, they might even have gotten it up and running and saved everyone here. Hopefully it'll keep them off my back at least. I don't want to fight another scorched beast for a long time. With the uplink repaired, I needed to collect some parts from other Free States bunkers nearby and start repairing the detector network. Easy enough, I thought. This place, the mire, it's something else. There are more weird creatures here than I've seen anywhere else in Appalachia. As well as the ever-present scorched, there are far more scorched beasts, weird anglerfish creatures on legs, giant hermit crabs living in semi-trailers, and giant fucking lobsters that come at you out of the fog. I even saw a huge sloth bigger than a house, just rambling along, minding its own business. Despite all that, I kind of like this place. When it's not trying to kill you, it's incredibly peaceful here. I built myself a new camp beside the lake, just at the top of a waterfall, beside a crashed airliner. I eventually managed to make the replacement parts for the detectors and repair them. So many places to explore along the way. I'm going to have to come back. Another message from Abby told me I needed to bring a holotape to Rose and convince her to install the uplink into her transmitter. I don't know what was on it, but it worked. If her old boyfriend had just done that the first time, it would have saved Appalachia a lot of trouble. It seems thinking ahead wasn't one of David's strong points. From there, Abby's recording sent me to Harper's Ferry. I'd explored a bit of the town a while back, but this time I had to go to the armory to load the SDS data into Raleigh's terminal. That Raleigh must have been some canny guy. He left a load of tough automatic turrets and traps for anyone who tried to break in. I was definitely glad of my power armor. The next terminal to hack was Senator Blackwell's in Charleston. The Capitol building was packed with ghouls. I don't know where the hell they were all coming from, but I took the ski sword that Rose gave me to cut a path through them all after I'd used up the last of my shotgun ammo. One last stop to load the software into a relay tower, and that was it. Headed back to the bunker and switched it all on. Can't say I noticed anything different, but I guess time will tell if it was worth all the bother. A note on Abby's terminal mentioned the Brotherhood of Steel and Defiance falling. It seems some Free Staters headed off to scavenge what can be found from these guys. Their old fort wasn't too far, so I headed there to see what I could find. I still desperately needed supplies after my fight with that Scorch Beast. As I expected, the camp was in ruins and held little else but corpses. It took a while to clear out the Scorch store hanging about there, but my new semi-auto sniper rifle made it reasonably short work. Some chems and ammo lying about, but nothing overly useful. I did find a note that gave me the location of their Fort Defiance, though, the old Allegheny Asylum. Seemed appropriate for a bunch of loonies who styled themselves after medieval knights.
Nice.
Along the way, I listened to a few holotapes I'd found that gave me some history of the group. Soldiers who decided to carve themselves a little empire at the ruins of the world. Can't fault that thinking, I suppose. Though for all their fancy names and symbols, they're no better than any other raider gang. A big gun and a suit of armor go a long way in this new world. It was a long way south to Fort Defiance, so I headed to camp and then across to Huntersville to stock up on supplies for the journey. It seemed appropriate. The further south I went, the more dangerous the wildlife got. I watched a deathclaw being killed by a swarm of ants. I decided to leave him well enough alone. Past the remains of the monorail elevator too. I remember taking it on my first week in these parts. The view from up there was incredible and the engineering was so impressive. I took the elevator to the top of the structure. Mostly in ruins, but still worked. The view was very different now. I got there just in time to watch a missile fall a ways to the south, which was followed by a huge blast and a mushroom cloud. I never expected to see a nuclear explosion firsthand. It left me chilled. With all the poison and destruction already in the world, did we really need to be adding more? I guess one of my vault neighbors found a silo, or maybe it was the overseer, who knows. The asylum had a big SAM launcher placed outside, non-functional. Looks like that and some other sonic gizmo or their Scorchbeat's defense system. Didn't stop them from getting overrun though. It's possible that between this and the SDS, the Scorchbeats might even be kept at bay. I just needed Brotherhood credentials to get into their command center and see if I could get it going again. That's going to have to wait till the next day though, because I need some rest.
Awesome. Thank you, Beardy Sigh. Go get that rest, buddy. So much bullcrap you have to go through those quests, man. Run all the mire. But I'm really supportive of all the Brotherhood of Steel hate. That's great.
I like the idea of the Brotherhood of Steel, but my first Fallout game that I played was Fallout 3, and you had the Lion's Pride Brotherhood, and they're not the same as the fascist assholes from Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's what I gather. See, I only did a mad dash right through Fallout 3 is just to kind of go through the motions of everything. But you can tell people who played a lot of Fallout 3 and started their Fallout experience with Fallout 3, those people generally have a really good appreciation for that faction. People who played Fallout 4 first have really a bitter taste in their mouth about the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, I think I've said it before. There's times I just wish that you could kill Elder Maxon whenever he's a little boy in Fallout 3 and just save a lot of trouble, but you can't.
There's a mod. You need to match 3 and 4 together. Match the 2 games together and do a time travel scenario thing.
It would be great. It would be so great.
So we know Sailor's answer to the question if you could go back and kill baby Hitler. She's going to go back and kill some babies.
You guys make me sound so evil.
To save many, though. To save many.
Yeah, but I also, Arthur Maxon, he was so dreamy. Even though he had that stupid fuckboy haircut. He was so dreamy. I just,
with coat.
It was probably the coat, but like the whole time I was like, but I could make him better. I could change him.
I can fix him. I can get him a better haircut.
Definitely needs a better haircut.
Beardy Sigh, thank you so much for your feedback, sir. I'm not sure how we're gonna try to do it, but I'm sort of in contact here with Beardy, try to get him on the show, but overseas makes the timing meet up a little weird. But in the past, we've when we do the wrap-up show at the end of the season, we've tried to do that on a Saturday, invite a bunch of people who've been submitting feedback all season. So if not anything before then, we'll definitely try to do a Saturday to get some of our overseas folks who it's inconvenient. Our recording time is kind of inconvenient if you work Friday morning anyway for people on the East Coast, but especially inconvenient for those on UK time. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Be like 3 a.m. or something stupid like that.
Just
But
drink lots of coffee.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
we've had a few people do that, to stay up super late, and you know, it's funny because people get all excited. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm going to be on a podcast!" And they, you know, if they're their first time, people think that there's, I don't know. I guess it's cool, right?
I think it's totally cool.
I don't
But
know.
I'm a dork.
Yeah,
I mean,
they get excited. It's like, yeah, I'll see you for 3
I do
a.m.
get excited, but like I said, I'm a dork. And I'm a very spazzy person. I mean, I warned you all about that from the get-go. I was like, I'm a very dorky, spazzy person. Y'all don't understand.
Oh shit, we need to let you have more of an outlet then. When is Valentine's Day gonna record again?
We
When
keep
do you
talking about it, and we haven't come up with a name yet. I don't think, like, not one that's set in
Oh,
stone.
I thought that you guys had sort of. Oh, never mind.
Well,
I won't reveal anything, but I thought that you guys were pitching around to sort of something, a cool idea that everyone had sort of thought was cool. Of course,
But
I would have to say I would not vote for that name, but that's just my that's my personal bias. But you know,
we know how you feel.
we'll let it be secret. We'll keep it secret. All right, Beardy Sai, thank you so much for your feedback, sir. Let's move on. Let's see, Steve was next. Hey, Steve. We've been talking to Steve. He was so nice to help us with the character generator for Fallout 76. But we're talking, and we sort of decided that, and I think Ray and Vossler agreed that a lot of these characters, if you look at all of our roles, we have a lot of average stuff. It's like it's between 12 and 6. Like no one had a 1 and a 15 for any categories. You know what I mean? So I was kind of asking Steve, hey, is there a way to force a 1 and a 15 on each, so we can sort of actually force these characters to have more of a drastic role? Because if everyone has all these sort of average middle of the down the road cards and stuff, then everyone's kind of playing the same character, and the whole point of the round table is to be doing these things from drastically different angles. So I think we're slowly figuring out a way. Well, I'm not doing shit, so Steve is slowly figuring out a way to sort of make it more extreme a little bit. We're kicking around a few ideas. So Steve, thank you for your hard work on that, sir. And we will also have Steve. I've been sort of kicking around ideas with him, getting him on the show too. But also, he lives on the other side of the planet too.
You can't tell me that he doesn't live in Middle Earth.
He does. He literally lives at.
He totally lives in. You can't tell me that. They keep saying it's New Zealand. Nah, he lives in freaking Middle Earth. Golden eagles flying along. Every time he goes to the airport, he posts pictures of Gandalf and the eagles and stuff. It's pretty sweet. Exactly. Literally lives in Middle Earth. That's awesome. All right, Steve. Thanks for the submission.
Kia ora, everybody. It's Steve with my feedback for episode 7, I think it is. I've been playing a bit lately. Gouverneur is playing along with the quests. I found it interesting because I did have to run through the basic training course at McClintock as a level 50 or 60 something, and I had done it really early on my first character, Ranzarox. So let me just say it was way easier at a higher level and not as a brand new player. So yeah, he's Gouverneur. He's rocking a vault suit with the resistant mod on it, which gives you like the 1 endurance, 2 intelligence, and 1 luck, which is nice. I need to get some flux to upgrade that shit. He's wearing a bunch of combat armor and a mix of stuff. I'm hauling around an excavator suit for when I get over encumbered. Yeah, there's cards that will lighten my load, but I'd rather have perks like Bloody Mess, which is pretty good. Speaking of that, the new patch for Wild Appalachia dropped tonight, and so my bloody mess goes off now, and I'm finding that sometimes torsos, the gross bloody rib cage torso, hangs in the air. The rest of the parts drop to the
Nice.
ground, but there's a bloody torso suspended there. I found it pretty funny, and I like that they changed the intro to the game. You know, I was used to seeing that West Virginia picture that came on every time, but now it's got one with a bunch of balloons on it. And so I was watching the picture movie playing, and it's got different areas in the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there. Oh, I've been there. So finally, I end up clicking play, and then this picture comes on, and I'm like, holy shit! I was just at this place. It was a random spawn of a downed vertbird that was full of loot. I'm like, no way is that in the intro. And then I realized, oh, I'm looking at an in-game photo that I took of it. What a dork. This is my own picture. But that leads me to, I took that shot right near the Lady Jane soft serve, which is east of that carnival in the forest. I've been server hopping there to try to find the responder bot vendor every once in a while. And I was at Charleston Station, but I heard about this place, and this place is cool because you spawn in, you can quickly run down the road, and maybe there's a pack of wild dogs, or maybe the vendor bots down there, and then I have found them there twice so far, out of the, I don't know, 10, 15 times I've done it there, which I thought was pretty good odds. And then, but after you go check for him, then you run up the road to where there's this skeleton with its head in a box. It's really close. It's really easy to find. It's just past an overturned car. And so I found there's another random spot right there, and it's changed around. I found a grave once, and the downed vertbird that I mentioned, and like a tour guide, I think it was, with a bunch of scorched around him. So if I'm server hopping, I like to go at that spot at the Lady Jane soft serve. I like to check both of the different locations just to see what comes up there. And I heard you on last week's episode talking about me at the DMV. Grumble, grumble, grumble. I want a fucking DMV quest in here. Yeah, because I want to just drive everybody crazy. And but Gouverneur, a little recap on my stats and perks. He's got strength of 9, and that's mostly used up on shotgun perks with a couple in slugger, but mostly shotgun perks. And perception of 9. I use the concentrated perk and skeet shooter and a couple in grenades. And endurance, all general stuff. No card is over level 1. I don't know what I'm doing with it. And charisma at level 5. Travel agent. I find travel agent a must on all characters. An intelligence of 10. And so basically, just makeshift warrior and gunsmith. 2 5-level perks. Really exciting there. An agility of 10. Nothing really specialized there. Maybe a couple in evasive and a couple in action boy. And then a luck of 6. And so I'm currently have that with a level 3 bloody mess and a level 3 serendipity. I would really like to have more luck perks, but that's okay because I made my first character, the one I mentioned earlier, Ranzerox. He's got a luck build, so he's going to have a level 15 luck when he hits 50. I'm saving the last few perks so that I can pick some of the higher luck cards at that point and not have to spend levels after 50 to get those cards. He's all about the chems too, so I'm maxing him out in chems, and I'm going to go for a 15 in strength, 15 endurance, and a 15 in luck. And so I thought that would be a fun build to have. I want to give a quick shout out here to my cheese halloumi. It's great goat and sheep's milk cheese.
Nice.
You can fry it. You can eat it with a steak and mushrooms, or you can put it on a salad. It's just really versatile and super tasty. It's really popular where I am, and you can get halloumi burgers at a lot of restaurants. It's so good. Yeah, just fry up that halloumi. And hey, everybody, I will see you in the wasteland.
Yeah, he posted that in the Facebook group. It's
Yeah.
a grilling cheese, Ray. What do you know about grilling cheeses?
Please teach me.
There's a pretty popular Mexican cheese that they do with that. The name escapes me at this point. But yeah, I mean, there's a few different ones that are made to be, made to be fried. They hold, they don't melt into like a fondue type. They hold their shape and stay together. But yeah, it's pretty yummy.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Me either. I want a
It looks
halloumi
pretty
burger.
magical.
Yeah. He told me to try Trader Joe's. I'm gonna try Trader Joe's.
Oh, I've gotten cheese curds there before. Yeah.
I know. I drive by a Trader Joe's like every day. I need to just stop and go in and get some dang cheese curds.
Squeaky cheese. It's the best. Tears
Yeah, we
me up, but sometimes it's worth it.
We don't have Trader Joe's here.
Oh. Just Sprouts? Whole
Huh?
Foods?
No, we don't even have Whole Foods. We have Kroger.
Oh, I hear Kroger is like the best though.
What?
I do love some Kroger.
People,
Yeah, we don't.
Why is
Yeah.
Kroger the best?
Apparently, like for like vegetables and like clean eating type stuff, like Kroger is awesome because it carries a lot of like the organic type brands, but
Yeah.
it's at a cheaper price.
Huh.
And they're very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the Kroger organic ketchup is awesome. Like I like it
Yeah.
better than Heinz ketchup.
I mean, that is our local store. We go to Kroger all the time. It's
Yeah.
like, but it is the garbage store for around.
Really?
Around here,
Really?
there's like wild oats and the thyme and blah blah blah, and it's all these like hippy dippy,
Fancy.
dancy hippy dippy stores, and Kroger's kind of like the garbage store around here.
Now see, we have the Walmart, we have the Kroger, and we have the Save a Lot.
Yeah, Walmart's not. You don't even consider getting produce at Walmart anyway.
Oh no, I don't. I
Don't
get it
punish
at
these
Kroger.
Yeah.
So queso blanco is the Mexican frying cheese.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just white cheese, right?
Well, but it's
But
it has to do with the way that it holds together when you fry it.
With that queso dipping sauce, obviously.
No, different kind of cheese.
No, I got to look into that. I wonder where in Indianapolis I could get some of that. Probably at the same place where I can find poutine or something. I don't know. They'll put all the weird stuff together. All the stuff I'm looking for in a meal. Steve, thank you for your feedback, sir. Always a pleasure. I like hearing about all of his specials and the cards he's using. Ray, I was thinking about that episode we did about Fallout 4 where we built a character to level 50 by leveling up. I really enjoyed that process. And then I was thinking, when you get a card in this game, they don't limit to how many stars in that card you can get. You can, as soon as you get a card, you can get all the stars, but that is different than how it worked in Fallout 4 because you like could get a certain number of stars depending on level in 4, right?
Right.
Yeah. In 4, it staggered it out by levels. With this, you have to invest points into the special that card lives in, so that you can continue to get
in order to unlock it
another one of those cards, so that you can combine them together to get to the next level.
I'm still wrapping my head around it for some reason.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better at it with this new character, because I had a very specific plan in mind, and so I've seen how how this all plays out, and it's the cards show up at certain levels, and once you've reached that level, you can continue to get that card by adding additional points into that special. But if you're trying to get a strength card, you can't take a point in agility and get that strength card. You have to take the point in strength to get it. Even if you were going to get rid of some other cards to make room for it, that card isn't going to show up unless you take the point in the special that it rides in.
Still,
Did that clear it up?
I will have to review that about 100 times and take notes and write that down. But yes, it makes sense, but I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to it yet, or if like I just really prefer the way 4 did it.
Yeah.
Maybe when I get more used to it and understand it fully, then I won't mind it at all, and I'll appreciate it. You know.
Yeah, it definitely helps if you have a specific plan in mind.
Well,
and then you look at at what level is that card going to start showing up.
Well, my character is, I think, 101 level now.
Yeah, so you get all the cards.
My whole plan was I think you can get all the cards at level 50, can't you?
No, I think you have to continue to.
Oh, do you? Wow.
You have to continue to level up in order to.
I guess you're right.
To choose another card.
Yes.
I haven't gotten that far, so I don't know.
So my original plan was when I get to level, I know that I said on the show I was not going to respec the specials on this character. That was the role of the Roundtable character, and that's the way it's going to stick it. But I think after then I decided, after I reach level 100, maybe I'll start allowing myself to change the specials a little bit. But then I decided, wait a second, you've been stashing all of this 45 and shotgun ammo for 70 levels now. Something like you just haven't touched your ballistic weapons in so long. The original plan with the character was to do that, but you just couldn't, didn't have a good enough plan. I didn't have like the ammo cards and like the super duper and stuff like that you can sort of like make a ton of ammo. So I wasn't really concentrating on that. So I always found myself short on ammo. So I decided to concentrate on my unarmed with the Deathclaw gauntlets and the Mole Miner gauntlets. I love those. But that's been really nice for the last like 70 levels or whatever. But then I decided, well, the original thing with the character was going to do combat shotguns and combat rifles / radium rifle. And so I've decided, okay, once you get past level 100, then you can start respecting. But then I was like, wait, I need to get all those cards. I need to get all of the shotgun cards and all of the rifle cards. And so I think that's going to put me at like level 104 or something when I'll have all of those cards maxed out. But then I think I can start respecting my character a little bit. But then I'm going to have to really study what cards I really want to be used in tandem in packages so that I can dictate which specials I can take away from. Because the cards are totally going to dictate what special I have, depending on what's I need to have loaded at that time. It just seems like thinking about it backwards for me for some reason. Still hurts my brain to think of it that way, Ray. I don't know why.
Well, we really, 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 really need a automated card switching, to be able to build decks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
And say, okay, this is my melee deck, this is my gun deck, this is my trading deck, this is my camp building deck. And because when you get up in those high levels, I mean, you're going to have a lot of cards, but to sit there and go through every single special and pop out the cards, in this one and add the cards back to it, and it's bad enough just remembering to put starch jeans back on when you're adding
isn't it,
mutations. And so I lost my chameleon.
Yeah, I lost a lot of really good ones, but then I decided my strategy about that was I'm just gonna get all of them. So that seems to work. There's a couple of them that suck that I'm trying to get rid of slowly, and I still haven't gotten rid of Empath. It is tough. It knows. The game knows what you're doing. It knows I want to get rid of Empath, and it's just like, no, I'm going to get rid of Marsupial like 7 times before I'll let you get rid of Empath. Ugh, sucks.
So what you're saying is the game listens to the podcast.
Well, it's like your iPhone. You know how your iPhone, all of a sudden your iPhone, for some reason, something you're having a private conversation, and then all of a sudden you start seeing Google ads for shit, and you're like, your phone's literally listening to it. Yes, everything. It's listening to us. All right. Sarah, actually, Sailor, you are up next. Is there anything you'd like to say? Introduce your feedback, your character, or anything before getting into your feedback?
My character is Bradley. She is a little weirdo. She was 9 whenever they went into the vault. She also has an obsession with the Mothman. And all of her feedback is letters to her friend Jack, who was her friend before the bombs dropped. And so she doesn't know if he's alive, and where, she almost has like this unrequited romance going on in her head with the person that she doesn't even know if he's still alive. So it's kind of sad and pathetic in a way, but anyway, I didn't get to do the quests that we were supposed to do this week because, I've been on my deathbed. But I did do some feedback just so that I wasn't a slacker. But yeah, that's kind of her and her weirdness.
Such a slacker. How dare
I
you. Deathbed or not, the round table awaits no sickness. Thanks for hopping on the show tonight, and thank you for your feedback.
Sarah Taylor here with feedback for the character Bradley. I've actually been a little bit behind on everything, which I've said before. Got sick, had some real life stuff come up, so I'm still behind, but I still wanted to send in some feedback anyway. So here we go. October 23rd, 2102. Dear Jack, I'm sorry it's been so long since I last wrote. Not that you would really notice the time between my letters, seeing as how I've no idea how to even give these to you. In my last letter, I talked about the overseer and how she left me in the emotionally impossible position of killing her scorch-infected fiancé. I haven't forgiven her for that, or for putting me in that position, or for leaving him in that horrible situation. I didn't tell you about the fact that she now wants to use the nukes to kill these things. I can't say that I'm as strongly as opposed to it as I once was. However, I don't think it should be our first option. I'm still trying to find a way to stop them without such extreme means. I don't even know if it will be impossible, but I'm trying to find a way, and I still believe that the responders have the right idea of it. Once more, I've distanced myself from my friends and started working on my own. They did help me with some of the tasks dealing with the Mrs. Nanny robot Rose. She was a pain in the ass, and there were several times that I wanted to upload a virus into her and put her out of my misery, especially when I saw the responder body inside of her headquarters. During one of the tasks that she sent me on, she wanted me to eat a gold corpse. At first, I protested, but when everyone else in my group did, it seemed more like a rite of passage. When it came to meeting up with the group called the Free States, I kind of pulled away from everyone. I just had went through all of this with the overseer, and I needed some space. I moved my camp and started to work alone. Wasn't exactly the easiest to do, but I made it through. The the mire where the Free State bunkers are is a terrifying place, but it's strangely beautiful. So I worked on finishing up what Abby started. I repaired transmitters, was mauled by mutated bears, and hacked into terminals. Now I'm on my way to Fort Defiance looking for the Brotherhood of Steel. I don't look to find anyone alive, because I haven't found anyone alive thus far. I just hope that there's something that they can help me with. Well, until next time, with love from Bradley. So that's all I have today. Like I said, I have been mega behind on my feedback and playing through the quest, but I'm trying to get caught up. But I'm going to leave it there, and I hope to literally see you all in the wasteland. Bye.
You mentioned moving your camp. How have you found that process?
I always I tear everything apart and I rebuild it. So
Wow, you build from scratch each time.
I build from scratch each time.
And everything.
No, I do keep like my workbenches and stuff. I don't rebuild them, but as far as the structure, I rebuild from scratch.
Ray, you are not a settlement person in Fallout 4. What do you do camp-wise in 76?
So I have a utility camp. You know, it is portable so that I can move it around and drop it in a space that I need for the fast travel convenience. And it is one of those physics defying camps. Because I can.
The stairs up,
and it makes it easier to move. So, now with the new DLC, I had to add a new floor to my current camp because the one that overlooks White Springs, because you get some new stuff to build, but in general, it's a it's a floating house.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about this new edition? What sort of stuff are you building, and what did you have to do to acquire it?
So it's a fun little quest. One thing I wanted to hit on Sarah's feedback that I suspected and have since confirmed. Both Eddie and I tried it out. So when you're doing the Rose quest line, you do get the cannibal card dropped into your card deck, so you don't have to choose that. You don't have to take a perk in what's cannibal endurance in order to get that card. It just shows up in your inventory, and you can swap it in, with one of your other cards. So that was kind of handy. Especially since this character that I'm playing now is a total cannibal.
That's actually really nice to know, because there's always those items in like Fallout 4 that I knew I'd have to place this certain length in whatever quest line to be able to acquire whichever item, because it was locked until a certain point. So I'd have to go do this far on that quest and this far on that quest to get all the items that I wanted to collect. But so we're starting to form that list in 76 as well too. Yep. So the cannibal card is Rose. Also, you mentioned what is it? It's like the bladed ski sword or whatever. What's it called?
Black diamond blade. Yeah, the black diamond. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good. But so with Wild Wasteland, so there either you go to the Adams store and get the poster for your own camp, or you can find a poster telling you about a frat party. And once you look at that, examine that poster, it starts the quest off. And so you go to a party, and I did it. it was probably like 12:30 or 1 o'clock yesterday. And so the servers had just come up shortly before that. And so the place was just absolutely packed with people. There's never been so many people in Morgantown since we all went to the airport to fight the Scorched. But so you just go through this little party quest, and it's definitely a lot of fun. It's just the typical quest where you have to go over here and then go over there and then go back here and then go over there and go back here, and just back and forth around Morgantown. But when you're done, you have the recipe for some basic alcohol drinks. So you've got beer, wine, bourbon, vodka, whiskey, and you have the ability to craft a distiller and a fermenter in your camp. So that gets automatically unlocked when you finish the quest.
Very nice.
Why didn't they include a kombucha recipe is my question.
Because it's gross. And this is coming from a cannibal.
Wow.
You have the fermenter. I mean,
it's true. So since I completed the quest yesterday, I was able to go back today, and I got a new recipe. And this recipe is for red ant lager.
That was needed for the daily quest yesterday.
And so if you so red ant lager gives you plus 50 carry weight.
Oh wow.
And 15% a thirst.
and now we know what Andrew's going to be crafting nonstop. Do you have excavator armor, Andrew?
I do have it. I don't, I don't
So
wear
you don't need the plus 50.
I don't wear a ton of power armor, but I just acquired the ultrasight power armor.
Oh,
on a character. And that's fun.
That's a sharp looking set of armor.
But I'm running around with Moses, and he really likes the power armor, and I don't generally wear it that often. But just for the kids' sake, and because, like I've said a billion times, I like to go through the process of doing the different things in the game. I've decided that I want to go ahead and invest in a normal set of power armor that you can put like a jetpack on, because I've really most seen other people in the jetpack, and he's really kind of like, oh, that looks fun. So we're right now in the process of getting a T-51B set of power armor together so that we can put a jetpack on it. And then we can play around with fun paints, and I'll let him pick out a fun paint and the atomic shop and stuff like that. I'll let him choose something so he can run around. I'll let that be his power armor, and he can have a jetpack. And he loves the marsupial thing. We loaded up his other character the other day, and he was very upset. No marsupial. He can't jump very high. He's like, "What's wrong? What? It's broken."
That's funny.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot more corn and razor grain showing up in people's camps.
Oh, is that what you need for it?
Those are two key ingredients in most of the recipes.
Purified water,
boiled water.
Hey. Oh, darn it.
Yuck.
You have purified.
Please. Yeah.
Very interesting. I think I'm going to start a kombucha campaign.
Are there any tequila beverages for me? Any margaritas or tequila sunrise or anything sort of festive like that?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Andrew likes those. Those are like the tequila beverages.
I am more of a whiskey person. I like Irish coffee. I know that's going to surprise y'all that I like, coffee, but yeah, I like some Irish coffee.
Wow. I've never been able to handle whiskey. That's
Now, for a while, I wasn't able to drink it because there was that one time that I almost died. But you know how that goes.
Everyone always has one of those. Like, I can't ever get near Malibu rum ever again.
The worst.
If I smell Malibu rum, I will vomit.
The worst for me was Bacardi 151.
Well, yeah,
And
it'll tear you up.
let me tell you that, y'all, that was a bad night of badness. Bad stuff happened that night.
Yeah. Dangerous amounts there.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
That
anyway,
was a long time ago. That was a long time ago, though.
Tell us more about this alcoholism we're all about to imbibe here.
Well, and so not surprisingly, the daily and weekly quests are heavily weighted towards drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
The one I saw was drink 25 alcoholic beverages, and I'm like, in a day?
Yeah, get drunk 3 times, do a bunch of stuff while you're drunk.
Yeah.
My trouble is staying drunk. I forget that I'm supposed to be drunk. And so, the alcohol wears off, and then I'm, running around in my poodle skirt and my beer hat, and I'm completely sober.
Okay, do you guys know beer hat locations? I'm sure everyone's going to be looking for those here pretty soon. Where can we get those?
I can't remember where I picked mine up at. I've had it for a while.
The one I usually find is in that bus outside of the wood mill that you run into when you come down the hill from the vault.
Wow, so you can find one very quickly then.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only one I ever had was given to me, I think. But do you think you'll be able to just brew your own beer and then pop it into your hat and run around?
Well, you can't put water in there, so I don't know why you'd be able to put beer, but
that's a beer hat.
You should be able to put beer in it.
It's a beer hat. Come on. It's in the name. So is that it? Because I heard Wild Wasteland had a whole slew of stuff coming.
So that's the big quest. And it's not all that big. It takes about a half hour to finish.
Is it going to be a multi-part release then or something? Because if you look at the trailer for Wild Wasteland, they mention all new free content, capture your favorite snapshots.
So I haven't figured that out. I don't see that popping up yet.
Increase inventory with backpacks, with customizable backpacks.
Right.
Oh, what's that? Have you done that? Is that in?
I haven't seen that yet.
The legendary vendor awaits you. What's that? Hello? Legendary vendor, yes. Mark me up. New decorations. Have you noticed the build menu change?
Well, the thing I noticed on the build menu is that you have a bigger build limit.
Yeah, someone mentioned that the build limit increased by at least a third.
Yeah, so I was at Eddie's camp, jumping up and down on top of his roof while he was building his new workshop for his still.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to expand my camp. Whenever I was working on it, Christian showed up and he killed my my build limit. But my camp looks really awesome, so there's that.
What was he building?
Let's see. He built a nuclear generator. I have a TV. Try to think. A spinning wheel. He changed all of my power stuff, so it's much more functional.
What's the TV play?
Static. I like to call it the ant family. So they just kind of march around and do ant stuff.
I always pictured it as a fly race, but yeah, ant family's good too.
Well, whenever I was a kid, before we had where I lived at, okay, Sarah talks about living in the country. No, let me tell you, I lived in the country. Like, you couldn't get city water where I lived at. You had well water.
Oh, same.
You couldn't get cable where I lived at. So you had antenna or satellite.
Yes, satellite.
And whenever they would go out, you would have your static on your TV and you would watch that because that's what there was. And like it buzzes around and then it kind of swarms. And so we always called it the ant family. For years, I played my Nintendo on a black and white TV.
Hell yes.
That's awesome.
Whenever bad weather would come, we would go rent games and movies because we knew that it would be 3 or 4 days before we left the house again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, when I say I lived in the country, I lived in the country. There were cows behind us.
Yeah. California country is definitely different than Kentucky country. We definitely had the well water, we had the satellite TV, we had the cows, but it never like snowed. We didn't get snowed in, you know. Like,
oh
we didn't
yeah,
have anything crazy.
we would get like mega snowed in.
Yeah.
I like the way well water tastes more than city water.
Oh, you wouldn't have liked our well water.
Where you're at, yeah.
Oh no, our well water was the best. It has
well water.
Ours had a lot of sulfur and mineral buildup in it. So whenever it was gross. So we would have to buy bottled water for like making tea and that kind of stuff.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of up in the foothills in the mountain area, so our well water was great. It was fantastic. We were very lucky.
You were very lucky. Like, yeah, I wasn't allowed to have white clothes because it would stain.
Oh yeah, the laundry.
The water would stain?
The water would stain the
rust.
Like a rust color, yeah. And
really?
when I was little, I had blonde hair. And so one Saturday a month, I would have to go and get the mineral stripped out of my hair at the salon. So I'd spend all day on Saturday at a salon getting the mineral stripped out of my hair.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hard water. Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah.
But it tastes good. At least around here it does.
Now there's some places like my aunt and uncle, their well water is really good. But
yeah.
But now, you know, out where my parents live at, because they still live in the same place, they have city water and they have satellite TV, and you know, they have the Wi-Fi and
Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi. We had dial-up internet for until like 2006, because you couldn't get DSL or Wi-Fi out there.
I was gonna get through satellite.
You don't want satellite.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
I've always had cable. Always been in town.
Well, aren't you fancy?
Because I live inside city limits. I lived in the country for a little bit, and I just went without internet for a while. It was weird. Like living
now,
10 years ago.
Where I live at now, I mean, I know you all are on my Facebook page, so you've seen like pictures that I've posted. It looks like I live out in the country, but I don't. I'm 3 minutes from everything. It just looks like the country because everything looks like the country here.
Well, it is Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not saying anything bad. I love Kentucky, and Kentucky is very lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, they also mentioned player vending. Has that started yet?
No, I haven't seen anything on that yet. I haven't seen Sheep Squatch either.
New game mode, survival! !
Yeah, I think that's still coming.
Stay on top to earn bigger rewards. Oh, that's part of the survival mode thing.
Yeah, so we were talking about that. So it looks like, you know, they've done a pretty good job of, you know, of attracting people to the survival server by giving them additional rewards and stuff. for and a leaderboard and stuff like that, incentives to to play on the survival servers instead of just griefing everybody else.
Harassing poor people.
Well, my solution is let's have an asshole server, and you just lock all the assholes up together so they can be assholes together.
Yeah, but in order to get them to go there, you have to give them some reason to do it. So it looks like they may have figured that out.
And part of the psychology behind it is they don't want to do it to each other. They want to do it to people who don't want it done to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, not all. I think if they have the opportunity to, show that they're the, the best asshole, then they're going to go for that because they'll have the bragging rights on the sword.
Or so they're going to have king of the asshole.
Yeah. Which it's attractive. It's now they're just frustrated. They don't really have anything to do in the game, so they're just screwing with people. Something like that might give them the incentive to just go there and play the way they like to play. Their other games.
I hope so. I
hope.
I still think the part of the thing is being a predator to people, who don't want to. I think that's a large part of it. But I hope that it draws them away and they can go fuck
I
off
hope it does too.
Their own aggressive land.
I've only had one hardcore experience of griefing, and it was funny because it was before they switched to the push to talk on PC. So I know the person heard me, but I was running through White Springs. I was heading down to the bog to finish up a challenge. And this guy came up and he was like 50 levels higher than me. And I was on my original character, which my roundtable character has surpassed that one in level. But he came up and he hit me, and I was like, fuck, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? So I just kept running, and he was in power armor. I wasn't. And I could hear him, clunk, 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 running behind me in his stupid power armor. And so I was like, okay, he can kill me, but I'm going to run him through all these ghouls right here. And that's what I did. And excuse me, he died and I didn't.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I was so stunned whenever it happened. And so I texted on the PC Facebook group and I was like, I think I just got griefed. And Ray said, well, if you just think that it happened, then he must not have done a very good job.
Yeah, obviously not. It's like you griefed him, kind of.
But yeah, that's what I did. I ran him through a bunch of ghouls, and he died, and I didn't. And I could have went and reclaimed his stuff, but then there was ghouls. Awesome. So
to grief a griefer, that's great.
Yeah.
The joke was on the guy that was griefing me because it happened when I was at the monorail elevator.
Yeah.
And I was jumping off the tower and dying and then going back up and jumping off. It's a lot of fun. And so I jumped off the tower and died and then respawned, and this guy was there. He was harassing other people that were there too, but he started shooting me, and I just kind of looked at him and then ran over to the elevator door and went up and jumped off and died. It's just like, dude, you're doing nothing here.
This guy's crazy.
So I was really hoping that I could land on him.
That would be awesome.
But
and then we had
the right spot.
As a group, we had that one experience where that person was standing up on top of the building and was shooting at us. They were really brave. And then they went and hid up in the mountain and was shooting at us. And that's whenever Phil was trying to be a
ambassador.
An ambassador to poor Rebecca Stranger.
Yeah, I can't even count that guy because I mean he did such a shitty job of grief.
He did a horrible job.
And then he ran whenever he realized that we realized what he was trying to do. Is like, really, But no, I mean, I guess we've been lucky, you know, on PC where we haven't had a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm still hoping. Well, maybe this survival or this new survival mode thing is the thing to do, but that it forms a safe enough environment that people like that Leon can come back. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's really sad that, you know.
Oh yeah, that.
There's been people who don't play as much because of
Yeah. Oh, that.
sleeping, you know.
That made me so mad, and I had listened to it that morning, and I had to go into work, and so it just kept, you know, building up and building up and building up, and I just wanted to go off so bad about that. I almost actually sent in feedback because of it, but
it's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful.
Yeah.
And it's people like that is the reason why, you know, good things get ruined.
Exactly. Well, hopefully this new mode will encourage those people to fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, my current big griefing problem is with these stupid scorch beasts that keep attacking my camp.
Oh, no, you got your camp in the wrong spot.
Clearly, but it's such a good location.
I thought you said you were by the golf course. Or
no, I'm up on the side of the hill, overlooking the power station.
Oh, so you're kind of like by Blackwater Mine.
Yeah, I'm just above that. So, but it's a great place to watch the nukes go off.
Yeah, you posted a cool video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
What was the other one the other day when you guys were too close or something?
Well, that was Christian. He had jumped down and he jumped off the hillside and right into the blast zone, and so it killed him.
One of the last times I played, whenever we went down to a nuke zone, we forgot that the bomb had to land, and we got hit by the nuke. It was me and Eddie and Phil, and I think Christian was the one who set the nuke off. He's usually the one who sets the nuke off.
I don't know if we've actually mentioned it. Have we mentioned that it was actually an achievement for getting nuked if you're in the middle of the blast zone? I think you have to be near the very middle, but I think you get an achievement for getting killed in the blast. For all those achievement hunters out there, I'm not really one of them, but I think I've accidentally gotten it.
You are the first Xbox person that I have ever met who's not been big on achievements.
I don't give a fuck about achievements. Do other platforms? Why do you say Xbox? Do other platforms not have achievements? I assume you guys have trophies and shit or something.
We do, but most PC people, you know, because some games have them, some games don't.
Yeah, it's usually if it's in Steam.
Yeah,
you get Steam achievements.
But, would they be similar to the Xbox? Would they give you an achievement for? Well, I'm thinking of the Atom stuff now, collecting 76, this and that, but that's not. See, Xbox achievements are like milestone quests. You get achievements for like big milestone quests.
Yeah.
Or like, I guess, I don't even remember. Gosh, I really don't care about them that much that I don't even remember what they're like.
I think that I actually have 4 Xbox achievements. 4 whole ones.
For all
for all my games that I have played on my Xbox 4. And that's because my husband, my old computer was messed up. I can't remember if we had sent it to the shop or what, because it was a real piece of work. He was very nice, and he bought me. I actually own Skyrim HD or Special Edition or whatever it's called, and Fallout 4. I actually own those on the Xbox. They have both been played for about an hour each.
Oh no!
And I can't play on the Xbox.
I know that you're a PC gamer. Do you use the keyboard? You don't use a Sarah? Sorry,
I
Vossler,
use the
Vossler
keyboard.
uses the controller plugged into her PC, but you actually use the keyboard and mouse.
I use the keyboard and mouse. Yeah. Whenever I first started playing PC, I used a controller. But some of the games that I started playing, they weren't compatible. So I got used to playing with the keyboard and mouse, and playing with a controller, it just feels so unnatural.
Yeah, Vossler, can you play with keyboard and mouse, or do you always prefer the controller?
Not at all. I use the controller. I have played games with the keyboard and mouse before. It's been a long time. I just feel like I am better with a controller. So why fight it?
I saw Ray hold a controller for the first time in his life. So I know
So funny.
Yeah, it was. I do enjoy the precision of a mouse. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this the other day. We were talking about our first video games we ever played, and I was just like, I don't think I've ever asked Ray, what was the first video game you ever played, Ray?
Pong.
Was that like on a home Atari or Coleco or something? What would that have been on?
I think it was on the TI-99.
Or like a.
It's where we got a printout of the code, and we typed it into the computer, and
Awesome.
then we're able to play using keys on the keyboard.
That's incredible.
That is badass.
Yeah, that's some serious shit, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you guys are talking about, the games you played when you were a kid, it was pinball for me.
Yeah, no, pinball's great though.
Yeah, pinball's fun.
Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, except that they didn't. It was because they didn't have anything else.
See, but it's kind of like how vinyl in the 90s and 2000s became like sort of hip again. Like pinball had a big turnaround, just like video game barcades and shit are super huge now. Pinball actually had a big resurgence not too long ago. Did you have I actually kind of like pinball. Did you have a favorite pinball machine, Ray?
No, I just played whatever was there.
Yeah.
I mean, plus you have the Who song, Pinball Wizard. I mean,
yeah.
There's no Donkey Kong Wizard. Just saying.
Yeah. I remember when that movie came out.
I like the song. I don't remember when the movie came out.
I didn't know that there was a movie. Not gonna lie, I know Pinball Wizard because of playing Rock Band.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a whole movie.
Yeah.
Based on Pinball Wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched it. It was a documentary, wasn't it?
No.
Wait.
Rock musical.
Yeah. It was a really weird movie.
No, opera. They call it an opera, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of the movie or the documentary about the guy that played Donkey Kong. I think I got it mixed up.
I love that. That is one of my favorite movies ever. The King of Kong with Steve Weeb. Sorry. I love that movie. It is such a movie of triumph and like hardship and overcoming adversity. It's just such an amazing movie. I love it.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
I could not recommend it more highly. It is.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters is the same.
Yes.
It's a substitute teacher, down, just sort of like bummed out down in his life, needs some sort of direction, but he's sort of like, he's not autistic, but definitely has one of those kind of different minds or something. But he just decides to go for the world record, and he just for some reason decides, hey, I kind of like Donkey Kong, I'm going to go for the world record. He just needed something in his life to go for, you know what I mean? And so it
does sound interesting.
Involved in this whole world of like devious backstabbing.
Yeah, it's like
video game world. It's awesome.
So much deeper than you ever thought Donkey Kong could go.
Oh, so good.
Like
the bad guy is such like so hateable. The movie makers does such a good job of making him like the least likable douchebag everyone hates on earth. That is, it's just perfect. So good. Everyone go see that movie now. It's perfect. All right, sorry, we are way off course with the feedback. Josh is up next here, so let's check in with Josh. Good to hear from you, man.
Hi, this is Josh from Idaho, recording my feedback. I haven't been sending in feedback because I fell behind in the quests. I started doing some of the Mistress of Mysteries quests, a couple of those that I got through, and just didn't have a lot of time to play. And so, yeah, I'm still a little bit behind, but I figured I'd send something in. So Brown is currently level 26. He just hit 3 in strength, which I realized I've been using a lot of melee weapons, and just because I didn't have anything for any perks for the ballistic weapons, and so, or not very many, and so I thought that was a better route to go, and so I'm hoping that's gonna boost up a little bit more now that I've got to level 3, as opposed to just a dinky little level 2. And I think actually my next perk that I'm supposed to take is also a strength. I took my first perk that was assigned, which is Bandolier, which ballistic ammo weighs less. So even though I am doing some melee, I'm carrying around some ballistic weapons as well, and trying to use that perk to its full advantage. Let's see. So I am actually at Abby's bunker. So that's where I'm at. So I'm about 2 weeks, I think, behind, or 2.5, because I haven't really finished that. I am really enjoying marsupial. That was my assigned mutation, and I got that. I kept losing it though whenever I would get rid of my rads, and so have to say thanks to, I believe it was Will, was a guest on the show a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned Nuka Grape will get rid of your rads without taking away your mutation. So thank you very much, Will. I've been making my way over to White Springs and visiting that vendor there to pick up Nuka Grape whenever I need to get rid of my rads. And I've actually got, I decided to stock up, and I jumped servers a couple times and went back, so that way I could have a couple at my left at my camp, and then I carry one. So let's see, the Mire is my camp location that I was assigned. I previously placed my camp there when I was at level 12. It did not go well. I had anglers kicking my butt left and right, so I moved it to the top of the world currently. Let's see, I don't have any of the other assigned perks. I had one possible last time I leveled up prior to level 26, but I picked the wrong card on accident, hit the button too quickly. So kind of is what it is. I'll get it next go round, I guess.
I've done that.
Let's see, I have done a couple of side quests that I found kind of fun. I ran into the pumpkin house and collected some pumpkins for the Mr. Handy that's there. And then he ended up giving me some pumpkin grenades and radioactive pumpkin seeds. So I was able to make some more pumpkin grenades. I haven't used any of them yet, but it should be pretty fun. That's all I have for now. Just like I said, wanted to send something in, and been really enjoying everybody's feedback this year. All the stories are great. Keep up the good work, everyone. I've realized stories are not my forte, and so I'm just going to go ahead and move away from that. And but yeah, I love the show, and thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Oh, your stories are great, Josh. Don't do that to yourself, bud. But we appreciate your feedback anyway you want to submit it. Anyhow, he's doing the Mistress of Mystery stuff. I actually ran that with this character too. But that brings up a predicament to me. Vossler and Ray that we will need to discuss coming up here before too long. We're going to have to start thinking about next season. Now, the logical thing for me, instead of doing, we've done the main quest, and like in Fallout 4, you could do like the different main quest, but in this one, it's just like you kind of shoot through all the factions at once, so you can't really go to factions as a secondary. So I was thinking maybe we'll like the next logical step would be like the cool secondary quests, like the Mistress of Mystery and getting the excavator power armor and doing all those the Mothman stuff and all of those quests. But then that brings up the thing, like some people, this is the type of game, this is the problem with MMOs, people don't want to start over with the low level characters over and over. I know, Ray, you're a special breed. I know. But that's the problem with the roundtable characters. You're going to start, and especially with this game, you start at level 1. You don't get to start with like 28 points to invest.
Right.
Starting with fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the problem. But like with the roundtable project, does it still lend itself to 7? I love the team up aspect of doing roundtable stuff. That's really fun to run table together with people online. But the starting over all the time, I think some people like to work on a character for a very long time. I think most people would prefer it that way.
A few of the people that we play with over on the PC side have multiple characters. Some are at lower levels.
Oh, okay.
I'm not necessarily. I'm the kind of person that likes to work on the same character forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But I don't mind starting a new one for the roundtable.
Well,
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
You are obligated by contract to, though. So
I did sign a 1 billion-year contract. You're right.
No, I have a low-level character that I haven't even really done anything with. So, I mean, I honestly don't mind starting low-level again.
Yeah.
Ray, we seem to have a 5-character limit on the Xbox. Are you guys similarly so limited
Yes.
on the PC?
Yep, same limit.
Also to 5. Have you deleted a character yet, Ray?
Yeah, I deleted a couple of my beta characters.
Oh no, not the betas.
Not the beta rays.
The beta rays are gone.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to I think cool secondary quests like Mothman and stuff. Well, I'm plenty willing to start over. I love starting over and doing characters from scratch. And if you really want to level up quickly, there's definitely ways to abuse the XP system and nuke zones to get yourself leveled up fairly quickly if you need to do that. Just find a higher leveled person to latch onto and take them. Just follow their lead.
Yeah, so I finally started whenever everybody was going into the nuke zone, I brought a
nice
10mm submachine gun.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And would just stand back and just spray the area with bullets, and then go run away.
You only got to graze them once. You got to graze them once, and then you get all of that XP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that worked out really well.
I cannot believe that it's not balanced by how many times you've got a hit on that. Like you graze the skin once, you like a bullet whizzes by their ear, and you get almost 400 XP for one of those ghouls.
Well, it's significantly lower now.
Yeah, it's still like 250 or something.
Yeah, but it is,
Well, actually, no. I have. Okay,
the biggest thing is just all the legendary loot that you get.
Yeah, the loot's great, and that'll be perfect with the legendary vendor, which Ray says I don't know where you'd have to go to start that, or if it's even in yet. See, it feels like to me that they're unleashing this.
Yeah, it's waves,
phases, right? And phase.
Yeah. Because it's just like the Fashnak thing is not until the 19th.
Which is weird because wasn't all that stuff last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, didn't they miss it?
Well,
Yeah. Well, they were taking into consideration the people who were actually participating in it.
I guess so.
Yeah, they didn't want them to be tied up and not be able to play.
Or I like to believe that they knew that I was dying.
Yeah.
And they were like, They were like, Sarah Saylor cannot play this
Sarah is
game,
so
and
sick
we have to
because
cater to her.
It's
she
true.
she needs to see the sheep squatch, so we just need to hold off. Okay, it says let's see, separate the myths from the monsters. Does that mean anything to you? And it showed like pictures of this new thing called the sheep squatch. Huh?
Well,
Sure.
well, didn't Alex post a picture of
A video,
the sheep squatch had taken over his camp,
but
or
then
not his camp, his
Is that
workshop.
a workshop.
is that the one that
Reclaim
he posted?
yeah.
Where did he post that?
In Facebook just yesterday or today.
Goodness, I'm going there now.
It said reclaim like Billings workstation or whatever. It has been overrun by sheep squatch, and he like his video like zoomed in, like
Doot.
oh shit. But then he went there and said it was just ghouls and it was mislabeled or something. So
Oh,
sort of disappointing.
That's a bummer.
Hopefully that'll be added to the game soon. Let's see what else do they have. Nuka Shine. Discover the secrets of Nuka Shine. Is that part? I assume that's part of the distillery.
Yeah, that's the distillery quest.
Bring the party to your camp. That has something to do with the poster.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the poster to put it in your camp to start the quest with.
I didn't know if there was some extra benefits of like having people over for socialization. A new seasonal event, the Fosnacht Parade. Okay, you mentioned that. That's like you said a few weeks from now.
Yep.
Next week. And that's those.
next
But
week.
you said the masks are already in it. You already got a mask. You said.
Yeah. Yep. So you can find them because you got to be ready for the for the parade.
For the parade.
Is there a process to that?
No, I found it in a locker.
Oh, so they're just random spawns now.
Yep.
In containers, not sitting out.
Well, if they were setting out, you would piss yourself because they're so scary.
But I'm curious if it'll spawn in my hat. There's up near Hemlock Holes. There's the mini golf course way up north in the Toxic Valley, and there's the maintenance station right next to it. That's a workshop or whatever that you can claim. But if you head the other direction from the mini golf course directly, there is a Little Rascals style random stage out just in the middle of nowhere, like a little stage with a few seats set up for an audience. It totally looks like a Little Rascals reference. It's hilarious. But there's a box there that seems to randomly produce different hats every time I go by there. I've never found anything cool like the skeleton mask or anything, but like you get like different nurse hats and stuff, and I found the top hat, the Civil War top hat was in there, and just some different really cool hats. So I'm wondering if masks might pop in there too. I'm gonna have to go check that hat box. I like that hat box.
Yeah, I ran across a little Mad Hatter scene.
Wow, what's
I
that?
love that.
Tell me
I've came
about it.
across it a couple of times, but I can't remember where it's at.
It's in between. It's a farm that has a bunch of super mutants. It's like Keller or Kessler or something like that.
Yeah.
And the fairgrounds. So
But yeah,
I
it's really
was
cute.
running between the two of those, and that's where I saw it.
Today I happened to run across an evil teddy bear and some gnomes, and it looked like they were sacrificing a skeleton. I have pictures.
But at that Mad Hatter place, there's a fishing hat, a bowler hat, a witch's hat, and
Nice. I love the
just a
witch's
whole
hat.
bunch of hats.
The witch's hat is great. That's a good hat. They also mentioned descent into new underground locations, which that must be the new some of the vaults they must be letting us have access to, right?
It was kind of hard to tell from the video. It looked like it was a multi-level mine.
Yeah. Oh, Alex mentioned something about it, how they're like, what do you call it? Hordes or something that they did in some other game that he played. gosh, there's like specific quests that are just like waves and waves and waves of package. I don't know, but I did notice that there were plants and stuff growing underground, and I was like, that's interesting. I guess they don't need sunlight if they can grow off radiation, but there must be some other source of light or whatever. Yeah, so I'm excited. We're gonna go check it out underground. So that was all the stuff that was mentioned in that trailer. But that's all the stuff that'll be coming out. It looks like the alcohol stuff is first and foremost the new addition, and I will try to get around to playing with that. Hopefully this weekend, so.
Because everybody needs to be boozy.
Yeah, well, I don't do any chems generally. If I do them, it's like with this character, I start. If I find something, I just kind of pop it. Like if I find a magazine, I'll use it. This character, like, will pick up chems and sell them, and I've done a few here and there, but I'm really not much of a chem user. So I don't do much the alcohol either. But if it's specifically quest oriented and gives you cool benefits, I might try to concentrate and force myself to use a little bit to see if I can't.
No, I haven't used a lot of chems in 76. I like the chems better in Fallout 4.
Well, there's jet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs some jet.
Mm-hmm.
Best. It's the best.
But I'm an alcoholic in this game. I drink the liquor.
Can you do, let's see, a Dictol? Will that get rid of your alcoholism?
Yes.
Or is that just for
Sometimes I just let it, run its course. It eventually goes away.
Oh, does it? That's nice. Some of the infections you get will I noticed they're just like, you have recovered from.
Yeah, after so long.
They have a timer on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the status bar or whatever in the Pit Boy.
Yeah, it'll tell you how long you're going to have, flap limb or whatever it is.
Glowing
snot ear.
Glowing pustules.
Snot ear, which you can actually get in real life from the game. I'm convinced.
Yeah, because it smacked you right upside the head, right?
It did. I got snot ear in the game, and the next morning I woke up with an ear infection.
That is what, snallygasters? Are those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, they're just nasty.
He's licked you in the ear. Gross.
Well, I imagine, because I'm a visual thinker, so I imagine what happens is like they shoot their tongue thing out, and it just kind of wraps around your head. So that's how I like to think it happens.
I wouldn't see why not.
Like I said, I'm a visual thinker, so.
In his feedback, Josh also mentioned the Nuka Grape. Have you guys been using that at all? How do you manage your radiation?
I haven't been able to find it. Remind me where it is again.
Either.
Everyone keeps talking about it, and I think, I need some, and then I immediately forget it.
And the what's it called? White Springs. Not event.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What's that place called? Not the event center.
The fancy place.
Spa. What the fuck's it called?
The resort.
Resort. There you go. You go to that place. There's all those vendor bots downstairs. I think one of them has like a soda fountain. Maybe I think it's beverages.
Okay. Don't forget White Springs Resort. I need to go.
Yeah. You don't want to get rid of those mutations, and you haven't gotten all the starch genes cards and stuff yet. That's a good way to get rid of your radiation. How do you make it?
I don't know.
I don't think you can make any Nuka-Colas in this game yet.
That's got to be an addition, right? Especially if they add the distillery. Come on.
You crush up some great mentats and you drop it down in your nuke.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so I did discover that you can ferment Nuka Dark. So it popped up when I started loading stuff into my fermenter. It wanted to know if I wanted to put the Nuka Dark in there.
I thought that was coffee. What is Nuka Dark again? Alcohol one?
Yeah, didn't they make it in real life? And it's rum.
Oh, like dark rum. Okay, that makes sense.
I think so.
Sarah Vossler, you mentioned that you might have to hop off. Would you
Yes.
evening?
What did you say? I missed that.
I said, would you like to say good evening? Thank
Oh,
you
yes.
for the show this evening.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm heading out, and have a wonderful night.
Right on.
See you guys.
Night.
We'll continue on with some feedback from Will here in a second, but Josh mentioned a couple more things. Well, he was mentioning going to get the Nuka grape, which brought the White Springs stuff to my mind, which brought to my mind, someone posted, I think maybe, God, was it Gabe? I don't remember. Gabe may have maybe posted this about some fountain of youth in White Springs. Do you guys remember that post? It cures your diseases and stuff and heals you. Is that ringing a bell?
I have no idea.
God, I think I'm not.
I totally read every
I'm not
post that
into
comes on Facebook.
All right. Was that in our? That might have been in our Xbox conversation thread.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see because it's my character, because she does melee.
It's diseases
and also Cobb too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely getting a lot of diseases.
Oh yeah, I do mostly melee and small guns, and I get a lot of diseases.
But again, those have a short, not a short time, but they do have a shelf life.
Yeah.
Do you?
Some of them are an hour.
Oh, good Lord.
So, yeah.
Do you ever use cure disease or disease cure, whichever it's called?
Oh yeah, and antibiotics.
Yep.
Do you craft those? Is that something you've concentrated on with your character and put on your cards and stuff to make sure that you can? Is that something that should go along with every melee character? Do you think the correct chemist perk to make sure that you can build antibiotics or whatever? I don't even know what goes into that. I'm not much of a chemist yet.
I have a farmer, and also sometimes I log on and I say, "Hey, I have this disease," and Eddie's like, "Here, I have 20 disease cures. Merry Christmas." So there's that.
Yeah, I typically get most of them from Pharma.
Yeah.
I just got the second level of that recently.
I only have the first level of it.
Are there 3 or are there just 2?
There's 3, 40, 60, 80.
Yeah. I need a third level just.
That's going to happen almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
But then by the time you're that level, you usually have enough anyway.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't. I just spam those fucking stim packs sometimes in the middle of battles.
Oh yeah, I do too. And then I have the card that, like, once your health, shoots down so low, it automatically.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I had to take those off because I haven't done it in a long time now, so I'm proud of myself. I haven't fell asleep with the controller in my hand, but I used to.
Well, and they fixed that.
Oh, they don't do that. It doesn't do that anymore. Yeah.
No.
Well, see, that's the nice thing about I play on the couch too, but I play with my laptop. So whenever you have like a $3,000 laptop in your lap, you're not as likely to fall asleep.
Yeah, spill your glass of Coke in it or something. I know I would. That's another reason I don't want to invest in a nice gaming laptop, because I know I would drop some shit in there. My Xbox is far away from it's under the TV, way over there. I'm never gonna drop Coke in it. If I have a laptop, it is getting crumbs in it. There's I'd have to make a rule, no snack bubble. You know what I mean?
See, I snack. I eat the chips. I drink the Coke. I mostly drink the coffee. But yeah.
You're saying you start pounding coffee at midnight for a game session.
I really do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I used to, whenever I was still working at the salon, Saturday nights I worked. On Saturdays I worked 1 to 9, and so I would come home at 9 o'clock, and I have a 44-ounce coffee cup. And I would make a double cup of coffee in that, and I would be drinking coffee. And then, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd go to bed and sleep with no problems.
That's amazing.
I've been drinking coffee since I was 7, though.
Oh, good Lord. You got a problem. Right, that's actually something else I always wanted to talk to you that we never discussed, as like the part of the foodie, the food stuff here, regional food. I know that you like to prepare food and it's part of your life. You enjoy the process. Do you have like a fancy Italian like coffee maker too? What do you do with your coffee? Are you a coffee guy?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mostly French press.
Oh, so okay, that's where you
that's
get like
the-
the little glass thermos with the press that's literally a press that you sort of like pour boiling water directly on the grounds and then let it steep for a certain amount of time and then push it down to get the grounds pushed all the way to the bottom. That's the French press, that one.
Right, but it's not boiling water. It's 186 degrees.
Prepared in a sous
Yeah,
vide.
you don't boil coffee.
You don't. Okay. So,
But
But see, Ray's fancier than I am. I have a Keurig.
we had a Keurig, but my wife is really paranoid about germs and stuff, and she just like no matter how well we cleaned it, she always felt like it never got
Right.
cleaned on the inside. No matter how many times you run vinegar and stuff through it.
Yeah, I understand that. I've actually almost wore mine out. And so I'm going to have to get a new coffee situation, which I've been looking at the Ninja coffee bar, which does like the iced coffee and the frappuccinos and everything.
Oh, nice.
So that's what I'm looking at, but haven't decided yet.
I want the little.
My French press is stainless steel because I broke too many of the glass ones.
Yeah, that'd be a mess. No thanks. It's they're annoying to clean up, Ray. I don't like. We do the French press occasionally in our house, but I don't like cleaning that thing out after we.
Yeah, that's super simple.
Really? How do
Yeah.
you do it? How do you do it that makes it super not annoying?
With a sponge.
No, I mean, but you get like with the drip maker, you just got the nice filter. You just grab it and you toss all the grinds out. With the French press, is there any way that because you're sitting there knocking the thing against the side of the trash can to try to pound all the grounds out of the bottom of the thermos thing?
No, I just let them go down the sink.
Really? Your coffee ground? Oh, do you have a disposal?
No, because I'm on a septic.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm always worried to let them go down my sink. I'm worried they're going to clog something up. I don't know.
I also wash them down the sink.
Interesting. Maybe I should just do that. Stop caring so much.
Well, do you rent or do you own?
I own, and I'll be the one snaking the fucking pipe. I hate that. That is one of my least favorite things about owning a house is snaking your own damn pipe.
Yeah, see, in October, we bought our first house. We lived in an apartment before that. And so we're still getting used to not calling the maintenance man.
Yeah, it's the worst, isn't it? Isn't it the worst thing, first-time homeowners? Oh, God.
It is, but I really like it, though.
We've owned for 10 years, and I'm still just like, ugh, I have to do this? Why do I have to take care of this?
Well, last week we had to, our house was built, the main part of it was built in 1953. And then it's been added onto and added onto and added onto. So it's actually shaped like a Tetris brick.
That's hilarious.
And the people who added onto it, the people we bought this house from, y'all, they were not the brightest. And I mean, we're not very handy, but some of the stuff that we found, but like underneath the house, they didn't properly support the main beam. And so it had started to crack, which we knew that going into it, but we had the floors jacked up, and that was fun.
Oh, God. Jeez. That sounds like an issue. Holy cow.
It is, but it isn't. Most houses where I live at have crack foundations. And it's one of the reasons why you don't do in-ground. It's hard to do in-ground pools because they crack and everything.
Yeah.
And it's the environment. And there's a fault line not too far from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ohio River's there for a reason.
Yeah. Well, we're close to the Cumberland River, which I think feeds into Ohio. So
yeah. Our whole area. Nobody thinks of Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio as a hotbed for earthquakes.
Yeah.
we do get them occasionally. There are fault lines that run through here.
Yep.
All right. Josh, thanks again for your feedback there. You mentioned also picking the wrong card. I've done that before. That is the worst, and I hate it. I feel like an idiot so much after doing it. But thanks again for your feedback there. We'll get into some more here from Will. Thanks, Will.
The overseer had said, when you exit the vault, run fast and run far. I made it about 20 meters before I set up camp, where I've been ever since. I felt, though, it was time to remove the weight of the last 25 years from glaring at me over my right shoulder. Besides, I already had more copper ore than I may ever be able to smelt into usable scrap. I had outgrown this location. So, after successfully restoring the SDS, I spent the next few days scouting new camp locations. Having already been to the east and seen the nightmares crawling around there, I had no desire for the mire, and best I go west. The plan was to go to the river's bank and head south. I passed through a place called Hunter's Ridge shortly into my trip, a bunch of small shacks nestled in the treetops connected by bridges. A note said that a couple of guys there that were obsessed with Rose's radio station forced two innocent-meaning poachers to walk a plank into the pit of death. I wondered if they would have met the same fate had I not unwittingly helped her spread the signal of her station. Another conversation for Tannen at White Springs, as there were now 2 more lives that would weigh heavy on my thoughts. I made my way south until I found myself at Billings Homestead, where I set up a workshop while I explored the area. I was feeling good about the place since there were no enemies to clear before setting up the shop, but I knew they'd be coming. Something about powering up a workshop that draws interest. So I set up my resource collectors while I waited for them to come. The gold and crystals I'd get from them were valuable, but were yet more things I'd need to smelt before I could use or sell them. 2 waves of scorched later, loving my Deathclaw Gauntlet by the way, and I felt it was safe enough to leave unattended for a while. The area was really nice and there was an abundance of razor grain, but eventually I decided on a spot to the north by Aaron Holt Farm. It was farther from the river than I'd have liked, but all the freely growing corn, potatoes, and cranberries sold me. I could already taste all the cranberry cobbler in my future.
Yes.
But before I actually made the move, I wanted to look into the tech Abby had said the Brotherhood of Steel was working on. So enough touring the countryside. I went back to Billings Homestead, where I fought off another wave of scorched and some wild mongrels, again using my Deathclaw Gauntlet to conserve ammo. I collected my resources and went back to my camp to prepare for the trip into the Cranberry Bog to find Camp Venture. Camp Venture had been abandoned due to its decrepit state and was now overrun with ghouls and scorched, which were easily dispatched. A look around the barracks provided a few holotapes talking about the formation of the Brotherhood of Steel by a man named Roger Maxon and their obsession with collecting pre-war technologies. Some personal tapes showed many of its members were gung-ho and thrilled to be part of it, while others seemed to think it was a bit silly with their ranks of knights and squires and such, but that they had nowhere else to go. Seemed to me like it had all the makings of a cult. The command center was locked up tight, but I found a password in the basement of another building for the terminal to let me in, where I found another one of the overseer's caches. What is it with her and the dog food? There was also a note with the location of the Brotherhood's headquarters, Fort Defiance, at the old Allegheny Insane Asylum. An abandoned insane asylum. I'm sure this won't be creepy at all. As I approached Fort Defiance, I saw the grounds were littered with scorched, while scorched beasts flew in the distance. Not wanting to deal with either, I made a mad dash to the door. Apparently, scorched aren't smart enough to use doorknobs, as none followed me in. Or they were smart enough to know that the place was packed with ghouls and were better off outside. I took no chances with the many ghouls and used an automatic combat shotgun to defend myself. That done, I took a look around. A holotape by Scribe McNamara said the scorched beasts just keep coming and coming, and that they were more of a threat than I could ever imagine. That was saying something, because after what I had already seen, I could imagine a lot. He also said I needed to get to the top floor. The elevator was a no-go, so I tried to make my way up another way. The asylum was indeed creepy, as well as crawling with mole rats and radroaches, but the place was a gold mine for soap and toilet paper. I'd be making several trips back here just for that. Toilet paper was in rare supply these days. I had just stuffed several rolls in my pack when I turned around and found myself face to face with a Wendigo. The shriek that rushed from my lungs hit a register so high it cracked the screen of my Pip-Boy. I'm also pretty sure I heard a Vertibot go down in the distance, and I thought the Scorch Beast screams were deadly. They got nothing on me. I quickly pulled out my shotgun and started wildly firing as I retreated down the hallway until I was backed into a corner. But I jumped over it as it lunged toward me and it became entangled with the wheelchair. I used its momentary incapacitation to my advantage and put as many shotgun shells as I had into its head. I continued on, this time with more attention to my surroundings than with the toilet paper. Near the third floor elevator, I found that the overseer had once again preceded me. We used to joke back in the vault that the food tasted like dog food, but now I'm really starting to wonder. At least she also left some potato crisps, a step up from the dog food. Maybe. I left both behind. There was no going further without using the elevator, which was not accessible by non-Brotherhood members. I tried registering at the terminal there, but it wanted a military ID, which I didn't have. I already had a military certificate, so apparently I needed to go to the DMV. Well, if anything could survive the apocalypse, I suppose it's the DMV. That's what I always heard anyways. Roaches and lines at the DMV. That's all that'll be left. So off to Charleston again. The first thing I noticed as I entered the DMV, other than that the overseer had left more dog food, was all the robot workers standing around doing nothing and a few corpses and skeletons sitting on the benches. So, like every other DMV I've ever been to. I checked in at the terminal to apply for my ID. Name, Hayes Green, occupation, etc., etc. I turned in my application to Department B, where the bot told me to take a number, C42, and have a seat and wait. After a while, I realized no numbers were being called, so I poked around in the computer, despite its warning not to, and rebooted Department B. Gloriously, numbers began being called over the intercom. But this brought a rush of people trying to steal my number or cut in front of me. Oh, hell no. I took out my switchblade and began slicing and thrusting and stabbing and slashing and... Whew. These were just ghouls. Wow. If this had still been 2076, I'd have ended up on the 6 o'clock news. Something about the DMV that alters a person's state of mind. C42, I then heard over the speaker. I turned in my form, but needed mail with a postal mark as proof of residence. So I went outside and took a letter from the mailbox. The good news was that I won $100 million. Too bad it wasn't caps. The bad news was that I needed a Form 21CV from the courthouse. Having already been to the courthouse before, I knew to have my switchblade at the ready. The form was in a locked room opposite Rosalind Jeffries' rotting corpse. Back to Department B, where everything was in order, except that B was for renewals. I needed Department C for new orders. It gave me new hope for the survival of America, that bureaucracy was already operating at peak efficiency. So, new number, A3, and wait some more. Finally, A3. Bot C looked at my paperwork, said I had error 34B, then went on break again. A little research told me error 34B was because I didn't have a proper birth certificate. Just because I wrote Hayes and not Hazel? Damn. My only recourse now was a governor's stamp on my form. Fortunately, I had been to the courthouse many, many times and knew right where it was. So I declared myself governor of West Virginia and stamped my form with the governor's seal, while taking the letter from the president from the same table for proof of governorship just in case. Finally, I had my military ID. Back to Fort Defiance, where I registered at the Brotherhood of Steel terminal. So, in the short time after retiring as a Vault 76 security officer, I've become a fire breather of the responders, complicit in raider recruitment, a private in the Army, and a squire in the Brotherhood of Steel. Oh, and governor of West Virginia. But most importantly, right then, I had elevator access to the top floor. Yet again, the overseer had been here, and yeah, there was dog food. Goes without saying now. But on her holotape, she mentioned that mistrust between the factions, more than anything else, is why West Virginia had died. I was inclined to agree with her. I learned a lot of things on that top floor. I learned that the Brotherhood had developed a way to track the scorched source. I learned that Lizzie Taggarty and her team, Taggarty's Thunder, had gone on a mission called Operation Touchdown, from which she never returned, but that as a result of that mission, Scorched Beast attacks completely ceased for an extended period. They were on to something. This was my next mission, to find out what had happened on Operation Touchdown. But I also learned that the Brotherhood had resorted to actual theft from farmers and were burning bridges and goodwill between themselves and the responders, as well as the Free States secessionists. Some of them felt strongly against this line of tactics, but thought they had no way out and had no choice but to fight for the greater good. Personally, I don't think they cared about the greater good. I think they just cared about themselves and the survival of their brotherhood. The Free Staters also only cared for themselves, taking what they could into their bunkers and leaving the rest of America to die. Only the responders seemed to care about what happened to everyone. Still, if only they had all openly communicated and worked together. The Overseer's holotape asked that we all work together to overcome this new threat. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Mark, Miss Norman from the vault, any Free Staters or Brotherhood I run across, I'm going to try to work with them. I know all of these separate factions may have had good intentions, but a friend told me once, good intentions only hurt good people. So that's it for this week's quest. At the end, Hazel had reached level 34 and acquired all of his assigned perks, though only a few are at rank 2 so far. Billings Homestead, as mentioned in this feedback, was his assigned workshop. And as I've just gone way too long, yet again, I'll save all the details and other ramblings for another time. So I will see you in the wasteland.
Awesome, Will. Thank you so much. He was on the show a few weeks ago. We're definitely going to bring Will back on the show sometime here in the future. Will, always, I really like the way he delivers the feedback and the story he tells. Really craftful.
His shriek brings down a vertibot.
And yeah, toilet paper is plentiful in the wasteland. It's not a craft commodity that I seek very often. I don't know if I need to use it a ton for specific items or whatnot. But if you're really going to role play, you love Fort Defiance because of, yes, the toilet paper and the soap. In the wasteland, one of the few comforts that I would definitely want to seek out first and foremost would be, trying to prevent whatever chafage that I could, right?
Well, let's be realistic. How many of us actually thought about joining the Institute because it had toilet paper and plumbing?
Yeah, because it was clean, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Had modern amenities.
Well, and really the only other paper you have is printer paper.
Yeah, you don't want to
At
wipe
all the voting machines. That's
ouch. That's rough. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want paper cuts.
No, thank you. Will,
and it always cracks me up when I find a ghoul that has soap in their inventory. Really?
I love finding the scorched females that have the fancy hairbrushes.
Well, it helps keep the polished.
Is that always the females?
I'm assuming that they're female. They I could be wrong. I have been wrong a time or two.
No,
I these things. But yeah, it's usually, whenever I've noticed it, it's usually females. Now the males could have them because, they've got to look their best for their,
No, that's
scorched
hilarious.
ladies.
I don't doubt that it happens. No, I was just thinking that would be incredible if they actually planned that out. I just thought that usually they spawn random items, but if they planned on the female ghouls having the fancy hairbrush, I was like, that's nothing I've never put that together in my head. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I said, that's whenever I've noticed it. That's not saying that that's the only time it happens, but usually it's off of a female that I notice it.
And you're going to notice brushes more than me anyway, just because. Yeah.
Well, I did find a salon in this game, so there's that. Yeah, there's a beauty salon.
You did some pictures, I remember, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was so excited whenever I found that because you would think with Fallout 4 in Boston, you would think that there would have been salons.
Of course, yeah, of course there should have been. Yeah.
Yeah, and there wasn't any, but I was so excited whenever I found them in this game.
Well, there's tons of stuff. Yeah, there should have been a laundromat. There should have been dry cleaners. There was coffee shops and there's stuff like that. But
There was laundromats in Fallout 4.
oh yeah, what was it?
There was. I know that one of the special hair things that you could get, the book for it was in one of the laundromats. I can't remember exactly where it's at because I'm really bad with places, but
no, that's fine.
I want to say it was near where the ship was. The Constitution. Is that the name of it?
I feel like there was laundry robots at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ringing a bell a little bit. Nice. See, Will brought up, besides the toilet paper, the dog food. He has an obvious issue with the overseer leaving him dog food everywhere. Not a big fan of the dog food I see here, Will.
Oh, I eat the dog food.
Yeah, eat good doggy perk card, and the dog food
yeah.
is a wonderfully efficient way to deal with your hunger. Now,
You just don't think about it much.
Along with cannibal. Now, my favorite thing he mentioned is one of my favorite things besides sleeping until you feel well rested, and then you pop a cranberry cobbler. Thank you, Will, for mentioning. I love the cranberry cobbler. Now, he mentioned Aaron Holt Farm. That's where you go to get the awesome cranberries up there in the corner, on the northwest corner of the map. Now, I have been frequenting the blast zones down at the cranberry bog, and I've been grabbing all those cranberries too, assuming, oh, great, I'm going to collect all these cranberries, and I'm going to go back and do a huge crafting session. I'm going to have so much cranberry cobbler. It's going to be amazing. But then I realize they're diseased cranberries, and they do something different. I forget exactly what it is. Maybe it's some sort of cranberry tea or moonshine or something.
I think it's tea because I made it before, but I've not made the cobbler.
Yeah, it's the.
But you know, I like a good cobbler.
The cobbler gives you the plus 5% XP, and that I love getting the XP boost. My favorite charisma card is the one that gives you all the extra XP, and I like to do the well rested bonus because that gives you plus XP, and then eat a cranberry cobbler that also gives you a plus XP, and then you're good to go for the rest of the day. Get yourself some experience points out there. Yeah. So, Will, thank you for your wonderful feedback. Please keep it coming in all season long. Love to hear from you, buddy. Coming up next, we have from Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hey, Fallout friends. Jen here. I finally was able to catch up with all of the quests, so I am currently up to date with you all, and I have some feedback for Norman, so here we go. Norman had started to feel sick. Whether it was loneliness or radiation, she couldn't tell, but she felt like she was somehow changing on the inside. She seemed to be taking more damage than ever before, but had figured that somehow she could help others by sparing them some of the damage as they fought alongside her. It was an odd thought. I mean, she'd always had a strong sense of empathy, but this was ridiculous. In a quest for friends, she met a woman named Persephone, who was traveling with a large group of people who seemed to be perpetually defending one workshop or another. They fought ghouls, mongrels, wolves, mirelurks, and Norman lost count of the number of workshops they visited. As a reward for her help, Persephone gave her a gorgeous, sparkly meat hook, which seemed to grow more powerful with each subsequent hit. And the lovely but mysteriously named Dark Angel made some modifications to her weapons to help her out when she was on her own. After everyone left, Norman began to feel homesick for her friends again back in the vault. She decided to set up a camp in a more permanent location, in a region she was told was called the Mire. It was an awfully pretty landscape with lush foliage and mist that settled on the water each and every day. There were quite a few bugs and beasts to keep away, but it was really starting to feel like home. The only thing missing was her friends. She wondered about Hazel and Eli and whether they had been through the mire yet, and thought maybe if she started exploring more, she might run into them. She began a search through a series of bunkers and discovered a group called the Brotherhood of Steel. They seemed really into tech and fixing and inventing things, and she thought she could really get into that. Her search led her all over the mire and into a place called the Cranberry Bog. It was hard work getting through there. As quickly as she collected supplies to tinker with, she had to drop them in little baggies all over the region to avoid being killed by so many horrible creatures. On one walk through the mire looking for blossoms, she saw a tree that seemed to have an odd sort of shape. She started walking past the tree and heard a giant thud and found an enormous sloth who was glowing green. She ran and escaped all manner of creatures in there. She ran from a mirelurk queen. She ran from a hermit crab. She ran from a wendigo, a deathclaw, a few scorch beasts, even a gang of angry gulpers who stalked her for what felt like miles and miles. She finally made it to Fort Defiance and learned more about what happened to the Brotherhood and their battle with the scorch beasts. They didn't make it, but Norman thought that with the amazing tech they left behind and some of the plans she found, she was sure she could fashion some new weapons to help in the fight, and maybe some of her friends might want to join her too. Well, once she caught up with them, that is. So that's all I've got for Norman this week. Defiance has fallen and recruitment blues have been completed. Next up is Belly of the Beast. Norman is in her mid-30s in terms of level, and I have to say, doing the mire and the cranberry bog in your mid-30s is not the easiest task. There is a whole lot of dying and a whole lot of, no, that's okay, Mr. Gulper. You can keep my screwdriver. I don't need it that bad. So that was fun. I am looking forward to next week, now that I have my assigned mutation and I have my assigned region. I'm going to work on my assigned workshop, which is Wade Airport, and I will just keep kind of plowing through and reporting on the interesting and strange things that happen. So thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the wasteland.
Everyone's all repeating, reporting back on the stuff they're required to get for their roundtable characters. I need to look at my character draw sheet again to see which workshop I need to go get. I don't know that I've actually done that yet. And I think there's actually one perk card that I was hoping to get from a random perk pack that I still haven't gotten because I'm not terribly excited about using it. So I was just kind of hoping to get it randomly, but I still haven't gotten it. So I'm going to have to choose to get that one too eventually.
Which one is it?
Is it called Dry Nurse, I think?
Oh, where you use the alcohol instead of stim packs or something like that.
I think this one has a chance of retaining your stim pack when reviving someone.
Oh.
I think I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's what it is. The other one, that other one I've actually wanted to use. That's like something doctor, quack doctor. So
maybe it's quack doctor or something like that.
Surgeon.
Okay.
Quack surgeon. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fun one. Jen, thank you for your feedback. Always great to hear from you. Ray or Sarah, whichever. If either of you can answer this, I have no idea how to tell. I have. It's not furious. Is it instigating? I don't remember exactly what the effect is called, but Jen mentioned it. She has some sort of weapon that does more damage each subsequent hit. I've got two of the same item, a Deathclaw Gauntlet. One is really nice and armor piercing and has all the buffs on it, and it does a really good deal of damage, significantly more than this other one that I have that has that effect that does more damage each subsequent hit. But I need to know how much is that, in the long run. Does it pay to use the one that does less damage early on, but it has a faster swing speed and does more damage on subsequent hits? Like, does it make more sense to use that because it's probably technically more damage per second, I would assume, but it does less damage overall? Is there a way to see how much it calculates when it does that added damage per hit is my basic question there. What do you think?
Well, I know there is the formulas in the wiki for Fallout 4, but I don't know that we have that for 76. I mean, they're essentially the same types. So the furious is where it's the consecutive hits, and instigating is where you do damage, greater damage to a target in full health.
Yeah, you can do like double damage if they're full health, right?
Yeah.
See, that's another one that I have. I have a rifle that is one of those is instigating. I was like, that could be devastating. You know, that is a horribly useful effect if they're at full health. That means you could probably one-shot most things if they're at full health. Not if they're not at full health, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's also going to depend on what other cards you've taken for the perks to enhance the power of the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh, goodness. Just so much to learn, so much new to go through, Ray. Still learning to wade through these new Fallout 76 waters. Tough
Yeah,
work.
you guys are getting into like the semantics of how each little thing works. I put the bullets in the gun and I shoot the gun and
Yeah.
shit happens.
It's just like if you talk. We used to have a host on the show way back in the day, Denny. I miss Denny very much, but this was his thing. He was all about the nitty gritty numbers, knowing the damage per second per thing, and like that thing does more damage overall, but this one does more damage per second. That's really what you want to do, and that always made me think of. I thought New Vegas had the thing where if you highlighted the thing, it would toggle back and forth between total damage and damage per second. Am I crazy? Didn't it do that? In New
No,
Vegas?
it does. Yep.
That would be nice effect to know, right?
Yeah, it was definitely handy. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
so
sure
when you
it-
were looking at it, it would show you both the damage potential and also the damage per second.
I'm sure for like the technical gamer, it would be like really awesome to know that. But again, you put the bullets in the gun and then you shoot the gun and things die kind of gamer. I don't get into like the really super special guns that do this and that. I'm very basic. It's, whatever I pick up.
You're so basic. No, that's I'm a little bit like that too. I also but like I kind of get interested in the numbers and I ask questions about them, but I never actually get a full grasp and understand it like all the other people do. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I was just kind of nod and say, yeah, sure. So which weapon should I use then?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because the next patch they're going to change it.
You mean just in general they always change stuff, or
yeah? I mean they've been tweaking stuff all along. So, it's really hard to nail it down. In Fallout 4, it was what it was. It never changed because they didn't really tweak that stuff. But in this game, I mean, we've seen them, reduce the damage on the 2-shot rifles.
Yeah.
They just recently, in this last patch, increased the power on the energy weapons, and some of the heavy guns. So, they're constantly massaging this.
Do you not agree that both of those specific items needed to be done?
No, absolutely. But it's for somebody that's doing the math. It's not as simple. Now you got to redo your formulas.
We're working on a sliding scale with this game. Yeah. Great. Cool. That's all the feedback we had for this evening. Before we sign off, we were going to get into some Fallout Terminal Velocity, but we'll push that off to next week. We've already gone pretty long this evening. But I did want to really quickly get into every year I do the RPM challenge. I know that I've mentioned that. It's a song challenge that you can write and record 10 songs or 35 minutes worth of music. I always write really short pop songs, so it's always easier for me to get to the 10 song mark than it is to get to the 35-minute music. But rpmchallenge.com, check it out if you're interested in doing a cool music project. But every year for the RPM challenge, the last few years, I've made sure to write a radiation / Fallout sort of oriented reference song. This one's not specifically Fallout, but there's like radiation and stuff in it. So I always try to do at least one song like that to try to see if we can incorporate it into the show somehow if we want to. But so I figure this album is not out yet. We haven't posted it anywhere. So sneak peek here on the podcast. I thought I'd play a new selection for you guys off of the new album by Red Queen Hypothesis. The new album is called Flabbergasted, and this track is called Abnormal.
An atomic explosion, a neutron blast, gamma radiation, plutonic combustion, ion broadcast, atom polarization, abnormal, a freak of nature, mostly monster, abnormal, a freak of nature, mostly monster, an atomic explosion, a neutron blast, gamma radiation. Abnormal, a freak of nature, mostly monster, abnormal, a freak of nature, mostly monster, abnormal, a freak of nature, mostly monster, abnormal, a freak of nature, mostly monster.
All right, that's featuring my lovely wife on vocals there, who says the goodbyes at the end of the podcast. So thanks, honey, for singing on that for me. I always bother so many people in my life. I'm like, I had my mom sing on this album, you guys. I haven't ever done that before. It was the first time she'd ever recorded her voice. It was really sweet. So
Fun.
I sent the file off to my brother in California. He and his wife recorded some vocals on stuff, and like my buddies from college were on it, and so it was really fun to put all that together. So that was a sneak peek. The album's not even out yet. It'll be out probably later next month. Good friend and awesome artist Jess has been working. I'm sure I've been hounding her, and she's getting annoyed with all the little nitpicky instructions and stuff. But she's creating some awesome cover art. Like, she's done all the Fallout feed cover art that we've been posting with the episodes the last few months. But those are incredible. So I decided I'd see if she would be interested in doing some cover artwork for the band, and she's put that together. So that's really, it looks great. I can't wait to put it out and let everyone take a listen to it. So hope everyone enjoyed that, and then we will use that to sign off for the evening. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you, Sarah, for hopping on the show this evening. Really great to speak with you.
Oh, it's been a blast. And I am the queen of the segue, so I've had us talk about a billion things that have nothing to do with video games. So.
No, that's perfect. That's what podcasts are for. It's perfect. And Ray, thank you, sir, for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. And now that song has inspired me. Now I know what the name of my current character is.
What is that going to be?
Abigail Normal.
Abigail Normal. There you go.
I like
Abnormal. She's mostly monsters. She's a freak of nature.
Absolutely. By any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, that's perfect. Incorporated in. So perfect. Yay, Roundtable. It's amazing. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.